John Bentley.
Yo, what's up, Cowboys gang? It's your boy J Tuck, Cowboys Up. So you guys know the drill, CFO fam. Go ahead, hit the comment, like, subscribe. Somewhere down there. And I got not a guest, not a friend of the show, man. Family, my guy Nick's, man. I got more Star Gang members coming on. Spoon's a little delayed, but he'll be here soon, man. But we got big news.
Yeah, go to the pharmacy.
Yeah. I never a slow day when it comes to Cowboys news, man. But what's up to my guy, Nick? What's going on, bro?
Well, heavily debated since last weekend till Friday. We get the good old Cowboys Friday news dump as soon as everybody finishes their local radio media tour, and wha-bam!
Right, boom. So if you subscribe to the channel, this Cowboys Fans Only on YouTube, right? You got the notification bell on for damn sure. You will notice today there's been kind of a contrast in the videos that I dropped. So I dropped one at noon today because I heard the conference call that Mike McCarthy had on 105.3 The Fan, pretty much the exit radio interview, if you would call it. And when I sat back and I listened to it twice actually, and I started to think, man, they are going to give Mike Nolan a pass. They're going to give him a pass. He will be back. Hearing what Jerry Jones had to say earlier this week, hearing what Mike McCarthy had to say, I feel like Mike Nolan's going to get the pass. So I dropped the vid, just saying what my thoughts were, Mike Nolan being back, whatnot. About an hour later, I get hit with a text message. Shouts to my guy SoFlo. Mike Nolan's been fired. And man, I damn near wanted to cry, tears of joy. I was so ecstatic, so happy, man. So about moving on from Mike Nolan, because honestly, Cowboys fam, I didn't see it happen. I didn't even think it was going to be a possibility. I thought not fired. I would say maybe demoted, as we spoke about Knicks, maybe moved on to a different position, but fully fired, gone, pack your bags. I didn't see it coming. So tell me, how are you feeling right now about the firing of Mike Nolan, defensive coordinator, after 1 year?
We kind of, halfway through this thing, weeks 10, 11, 12, we're like, okay, we kind of know the writing's on the wall. And then we kind of got on this run, and here comes the turnovers. We win 3 straight. We're going into the week, 17 with a outside chance of making the playoffs and whatnot. And, it didn't come to fruition, but we still ended up with a couple of turnovers, right? So it's like, okay, then you heard, we broke down and talked about Jerry, how he came on the radio. It was like, I put the blame on me, right? And the COVID, and I underestimated, so on and so forth with that. All the way to, like you said, as you listen to as we all did, right? As we listened to Mike McCarthy kind of ho-hum, skid around it, and they moved on. And at the end of the day, here it is. It's the right call. And not only did they move on from Mike Nolan, Tom Sula, thank you and wish you best on your future endeavors. And there's a possibility there might be more guys gone from this staff. But I mean, when you've been a historically bad defense, right, you want to see change. I will say, with the COVID and everything that happened with the injuries and whatnot, I'm surprised. I'm not going to sit here like I'm not. I kind of feel like we're going to reshuffle the deck. Right, we're going to slide Mike Nolan somewhere else. Maybe here comes George Edwards in. I've banged the table a lot. Anyone that's seen or heard me before talk about this, I kind of feel like this is going to be George Edwards coming in to take over for Mike Nolan.
Right.
However, after Nolan getting the boot and Tom Sula getting the boot, it kind of makes me change my viewpoint here a little bit, and I think they're going to bring somebody from the outside in for this defense.
Yeah, I agree. I think now we're fully looking outside. And I saw that to my guy Skywalker still. He had mentioned when he saw my first video at noon, he was like, it's all about timing. If the Cowboys were waiting past a lot of these interviews and after these firings, then more than likely Mike Nolan was safe. But since we did it now, there's been a lot of decent defensive-minded head coaches that have been let go. And so it had to pique Jerry and Steven's interest to bring some of these guys in. So I think that was kind of a push. Now, we mentioned this kind
of – because you just said something there. I ain't gonna let you off the hook there. It's like you said, a lot of guys became available, and this piqued Jerry and Steven's interest. You didn't say Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to ask you. So, do you think this was a Jerry and Steven, coming down in a decision, or do you think this was more of they kind of just let things and let Mike McCarthy make the decision? I think it was Jerry and Steven kind of pushing Mike McCarthy like, all right, bro, we got to do something about this. And I feel like Mike McCarthy had no choice. And that's why I was saying, earlier, I felt like earlier on, that's what was the case, is that Jerry Jones taking the bullet. Like I said, y'all, I didn't see that coming. When Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, the most egotistical owner that we know, says this was my bad, this was on me, I was like, okay, maybe Mike Nolan is cool. And maybe they will leave the decision making up to Mike McCarthy. And I think that Mike McCarthy would then possibly give him the pass. But I feel like after seeing what happened today, I feel like there may have been pressure coming from up above on Mike McCarthy to move on from Mike Nolan and Tom Sula. Now, I know I've been very hard on Mike McCarthy and Mike Nolan, but I will say this about Tom Sula. If anyone sold me this summer, it was Tom Sula. Like, I was a huge Tom Sula fan when it came to this defensive line. And I thought, Everson Griffin edition and whatnot, I was a Tom Sula guy because he felt like he was just strictly business. And to see him get let go, I was like, okay, they really mean business with really reshuffling his defense. Because like my guy Zach said from the Starboy show, what's up, bro? This defense was historically bad. It was bad to watch throughout the majority of the season. So they had to move on and make things happen, man. So let me add my guy, my tag team partner. We're going to tag team today, man. We're going to Deadly Death Drop. Got my guy Spoon. What's going on, Spoon?
What's going on, y'all?
Yeah. What's going on, bro? So we've been talking about this Mike Nolan firing, man. So let me ask you this, Spoon, because me and Nick's already kind of spoke on it. Did you see it coming, or do you felt like after hearing the interviews from Mike McCarthy and also Jerry Jones that Mike Nolan was going to get the COVID pass and kind of be safe going into the 2021 season?
Yeah, listen, I listened to it this morning, actually. The live interview. Sometimes the live interview is different from what's being written. So you want to just get that feel. And when I listen to it, I'm like, he may stay. He may end up staying. So, and listen, end of the day, I know Cowboy Nation is happy this happened. Listen, end of the day, we had a bad defensive coordinator mixed with bad players on the team, on the defense. Just bad all the way. And the best way to start off on a new season is to get rid of the bad and bring in good. So it's a great start for us.
Right. And so you mentioned that they moved on from Mike Nolan, also Tom Sula. Spoon, do you think there'll be more coming moving forward as far as this defensive staff is concerned, or?
Yeah, listen, I think, they're sitting down right now as we speak and going through the motion. Thomas Sula, I was, BJ could tell you, I'm very high on Thomas Sula.
Yeah, that's what I just said, yeah.
I love Thomas Sula. So it's like, I get the feeling the next defensive coordinator we're going to hire, it will tell us what type of defense we're going to run. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they fired him because they're going to go to the 3-4 completely, or did they fire Tomasulo because maybe they're going to let somebody else come in and bring in their staff.
Right.
So it's a lot of questions, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, one of the things I heard too come back around, and we heard this earlier in the year, and it kind of disappeared. And one of the things that was kind of floating around with some of the Cowboys insiders was the fact that they loved what Tomasulo was as far as energy and stuff like that from a coach standpoint, but he wasn't a very good teacher, right? And we kind of heard some of those things early on in the season that kind of moved on, and maybe he wasn't a good enough teacher. I think that maybe lets you know that Alden Smith might not be back, because that's definitely Alden Smith's guy and Tomasulo. Right. So, and this could be, it could mean we're transitioning. We're going to stick with the 4-man front, or I don't really think this tells us one way or the other, Spoon. I don't think this means we're not going to be in a 3-man front. We're going to stick to the 4-man. I don't think it means anything. I think the fact that they moved on from both guys, in Nolan and Tomasulo, I think there's going to be more to follow. Right. I think it just lets me know that this next DC is going to be an outside hire now, instead of being like a reallocation of like a George Edwards or something like that. But back to the original point before Spoon jumped on, that's the age-old question here: the chicken or the egg? What came first? Was this a Steven and Jerry move, or was it the coach? Right? Because we're going to start to get into his Cowboys Nation always does. Oh, look, Mike McCarthy, he's a puppet. He's just doing Jerry and Steven's bidding. So we don't know. We'll have to wait and see, and let this thing kind of play out and see. Was he have to be coaxed, Mr. McCarthy? Did you have to be coaxed into it, or was it his decision?
To add on to that, the one thing we learned about Mike McCarthy in the offseason, when, again, the blue and white scrimmage, bringing that up again, when we was waiting for it, we saw nothing. A whole couple of hours of nothing. So with Mike McCarthy, you won't get a direct answer. All you're going to get is end around. You have to just be patient and wait and see. Because, again, hearing the interview this morning, I didn't expect this. I didn't. I got it from y'all too. I was like, I'm like, what's going on? I said, let me go on the outside part. What?
Yeah, I said, Mike McCarthy hit me with the and one reverse behind the back, pulled my shirt over my head, and threw the ball off my forehead, because I didn't see it coming. Because, like I said, if you listen to the interview, just how his tone and how he spoke about the defense, because to give you guys kind of a quote of what said the question with RJ and Sean this morning, it says, "Have you decided if Mike Nolan will be returning this season?" He said, "That's what we're working on. We're working on all the coaches. Frankly, that's what this process is about. You got to take the emotion out of the disappointment of being 6-10. It's important to put everything on the table. It's the same process. I've done it every year as a head coach, and I think I'll have to do it this way." So what he was pretty much saying is, like, you can't be emotional being 6-10. You have to look at the full picture. And so I thought maybe, like you said, Jerry's going to give him the COVID pass. Jerry took ownership of the defense. Maybe give Mike Nolan the off season and bring in a few of his guys in a full training camp in preseason. And if things started off to slide off the rails earlier in the season, then maybe we moved on. But also, I think what may have impacted it is, like I said, Jerry sitting back and seeing some of these coaches, like, which we'll talk about here soon, maybe a Dan Quinn or a Raheem Morris or a Matt Patricia being let go, and thinking
Gus Bradley.
Yeah, Gus Bradley, like these type of coaches getting let go. I'm like, all right, I can go get me one of those guys and really get rid of you, because you haven't given me much to hold on to besides 10 little stinky turnovers in the year. So yeah, shouts out to everybody in the chat, man. What's going on, Rose? What's going on, my guy Mo? Tyler, what's up, bro? My guy Zach from the Star Boys podcast. Definitely check my guy out. Stevie Mack, man. Shouts out to Stevie Mack. He checked me on my YouTube, but let it be clear, y'all, I don't delete tweets or no YouTube. So I came out and said I was wrong, because, like I said, I thought Mike Nolan was going to be sticking around a little bit longer, but I'm glad to be wrong. This is one of those cases I'm glad to be wrong, that Mike Nolan will be gone and be moved on from as far as this time with the Dallas Cowboys. And shouts out to my girl Kendra as well. So we mentioned a few coaching candidates. Who are some of your candidates that, are kind of top of the radar, and some guys who might be sneaking below the grid that you guys think the Dallas Cowboys will be bringing in-house, since we're looking more externally versus internally?
Yeah, I think, when you get to that question, we're still back to the thing we talk about. What is this going to be? Is this going to be a 3-man front or a 4-man front? So that's gonna let you know whoever they bring in is going to write you with things, going to give you the idea of who that's going to be. I mean, for me, if I'm just picking blindly and not worried about what man front, I mean, my goodness, Marvin Lewis, hello. I mean, we interviewed him last year, right, for the head coaching job. I don't think he's a great head coach. I think he's like a Garrett kind of, right? But I think as a defensive coordinator, I think he is close to. I mean, he's been an elite coordinator in this league. Be clear, and him and Mike McCarthy are both Pittsburgh guys. So they have some ties back to where they're from. So for me, number one on the list for me would be Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, I agree. Marvin Lewis is one of the guys I've been speaking about for quite some time. That would be my first consideration. If we're going to be more of a 4-3 scheme, I would go with Marvin Lewis. I know that you were talking about Mike Fisher had said something about Marvin Lewis, but Fish has me blocked, man, so I can't see nothing of the Fish, bro. Yeah, the Fish has me blocked, man, but it's crazy, though. He has me blocked, but a lot of our ideas are kind of very similar. So, Spoon, what is your idea on some external hires that the Cowboys could possibly bring in?
I got 4.
You got that look in your eye, man. I see.
I got 4. It's big. I got 4. Can I give you an order?
Hold on, Spoon. Before you go, just a little tidbit here from Michael G off of Twitter. The last 3 coordinators that Mike McCarthy has hired was Don Capers, Mike Patine, and Mike Nolan. Were former head coaches of ex-Falcons. Were former head coaches. Ex-Falcons coach Dan Quinn is among the candidates who have been internally discussed to replace Nolan per sources. So there's that Dan Quinn in the mix, apparently. But go ahead there, Spoon.
I've been saying Dan Quinn the whole time. That's my number 1 guy. Dan Quinn, my number 1 choice. My number 2 choice, of course, is Marvin Lewis. My number 3 choice, it's Wade Phillips. Number 4 is Christopher Sharp. It's Christopher Sharp. That's right. Even though I know, listen, the young man never got a chance. He never really got a real chance to run his defense. But end of the day, what you're gonna get from Christopher Sharp from Dan Quinn, you get of his Sharp because they run the same type of scheme anyway. That's where he came from. You learn under Dan Quinn. So same thing. But end of the day, wow, it's something.
Yeah,
we all just got fooled by it.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Cowboys fan. And I was speaking to Nick off grid about this, but as a Cowboys fan, I'm starting to get excited. And granted, I get excited every offseason. But what I'll say, what today really showed me is that the things that we are seeing, they are seeing. And actually, the Dallas Cowboys are finally addressing it. You think back to even this season, we were complaining about, Everson Griffin. Something didn't look right with Everson Griffin. Terry Poe just doesn't look right. Dale Worley just doesn't look right. They addressed that and moved on. You think about the right tackle position. Like, why don't we just move Zach Martin out the right tackle? Like, or Terrence Steele is really costing us these games. They made a decision there. The defense, Mike Nolan, his defense, something just doesn't look right. So they're addressing these concerns. So I feel like as a Cowboys fan, it makes me feel a little bit more optimistic that they're actually seeing it and they're addressing it, because we know the last staff we turn a blind eye on a lot of these things.
So now back to the chicken or the egg. Is that did the front office all of a sudden get super smart and decide to make these moves in real time, or is that your head coach?
It's hard because
I mean, you've seen us just scribble away and not do nothing, and we're seeing stuff happen in real time. I mean, is it the old guard that's been here forever suddenly got super smart, or is that your head coach?
I would say it was Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
But I also say when you actually bring these things in, it's when you're messing up yourself.
You would think.
So it's easy kind of Mike McCarthy to sit back like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have brought in Don Terry Poe. Maybe I shouldn't have signed off with it. Maybe my homeboy Mike Nolan in a great defensive. So maybe that's why the recognition is a lot quicker. But I think that Mike McCarthy is playing a big part in a lot of changes that we're seeing in Dallas. Would you agree, Spoon?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I said, Jerry loves to put the Cowboys on show the world what we doing, everything. We could be just showing up to, going to a ballet, working out at ballet. He want to showcase that, and since McCarthy came here, you see the changes. We're not giving the world, we're not answering to nothing, we're not telling everybody everything. The blue and white scrimmage, we're not showing anybody anything. there will be great questions. We're going to go around it, and they'd have to wait till it happens. And that's what it is. I believe McCarthy is the one who basically made this move.
Right. Yeah. Because he's very secret agent, like you said, man. He's very low key, tries to keep everything to himself because he could have dropped this bomb. Well, he probably would have dropped it on the radio. He could at least hint it a little bit more, but he still danced around the subject, and he obviously knew. So he kept that in house, and I think that's something that maybe the players do respect about Mike McCarthy. He's not very glitz and glamorous, and showtime. He keeps everything in house. He wants to keep everything tight knit. So maybe you're starting to see that change when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. So, he says, I'm good with Quinn or Phillips, no doubt. Yeah, I think I would say Richard is out. I don't see Chris Richard getting another opportunity in Dallas. So I would cancel him out. Phillips, maybe he can mend that relationship, but I really don't see it for the most part. I can see Quinn, and the reason why I say Quinn will probably be top of that priority food chain because he's already being interviewed, I think, by the Seahawks and the 49ers.
Right.
And so Jerry, he kind of feasts himself on being competitive and want to go get those guys. Like if the Seahawks won, the 49ers, I want them. So like I said, I think it'll come down to either Marvin Lewis or Dan Quinn as far as the defensive coordinator hires. But it also depends on relationships. But I don't think Mike McCarthy's going to do another buddy system hire. I think at this point, he's really going to want to fix this defense and get the guys in that can help win immediately.
Yeah. And another thing too is, I don't think it's, and we posted this question today in the Star Gang. Just, hey, I put up a short list of guys or other. Who do you want to see? And I saw some young names get thrown out there, from other coaching staffs, whether it's secondary, stuff like that. To me, I don't think this is going to be another one of those. You got rid of Garrett. McCarthy was to get you over the hump. They got rid of Nolan. This is going to be somebody to come in here to get the defense over the hump. I don't think they're going to play with this. They're not going to look for a young, up-and-coming guy. I think it's going to be a solidified guy that they're going to bring in here to fix this defense, to get this thing rolling immediately, if you will, starting next season. That's why, for me, Marvin Lewis makes a ton of sense. Hey, Quinn also, again, depending on what kind of scheme that they want to run. Wade Phillips, you're the head coach here. It was a bad look, everything that happened. I just don't see Wade Phillips coming back in the building saying, I was the head coach here, but you know what? I'll come be your DP. I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll come be your coordinator now. I just don't really see that. But yeah, I definitely think this is going to be an established hire. I don't think this is going to be some kind of young gun. I even saw some college names get thrown out there as well. And I just don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be an established guy that has a track record of having really good defenses in this league. And look, if we kind of go back to it, if you go back to whenever the Packers got over the hump, right? Don Capers was the guy that came in for that defense. Well, if you think about Don Capers back in Carolina, right? Got Carolina to a Super Bowl, an established guy that came into Green Bay and brought that defense. And I think it's going to be that kind of hire that's going to happen here for this defensive coordinator position in Dallas.
So you mentioned Don Capers, and I heard his name kind of floating around. Do you think that's a possibility?
Oh, he's a little long in the tooth, y'all. Right. He's a little long in the tooth. And here's the thing about that. That kind of turns into what you said, a friendly hire. Right. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say I don't think it'll be Don Capers.
All right. So you got Cowboys Nation, you can rest a little bit. I don't think it's going to be Don Capers. I saw that floating around by a few guys on Twitter or whatnot. I was like, let's not be that drastic. So Dwayne brought up a good question, but it took them too long to realize and make the move on Poe and Griffin. Like I said, they did move kind of slowly, but they're acknowledging it and they're recognizing it and they're making a change. That's all. Because you think about it, if this was pretty much the Jason Garrett era, we probably would have never saw Donovan Wilson hit that field.
Well, not only that, you said they moved a little too slow. They moved light years amongst Garrett because they would have been on this team the entire year and just would have stayed flat and just kept playing them and nothing would have changed. So, and unfortunately in the NFL, one thing that I don't like about the NFL, that we talked about this with the Zach Martin thing, Spoonie, Tuck, we all talked about this together on air, was we knew Martin needed to go to right tackle once they did it in game at one point. I think it was the Washington game that they moved him out to right tackle.
Well, he did it. The first game was for Seattle, right?
Was it Seattle? No, I don't think it was. Was it Seattle? It was before the. Yeah, but either way, it was before the bye week.
Right.
And then once the bye week got here, then they made the official change.
Move,
And for whatever reason, a lot of these teams in the NFL, if they're going to make a big change like that, they wait till the bye week. I'm not a big fan of that, but that's how the business of the NFL is done. And kind of some of this with these guys that they got up out of here, they kind of waited to the trade deadline a little bit and then made those moves and rearranged. And that's just kind of the business of the NFL's done. They're not just going to walk in their week 3 and be like, all right, you're out. It's just not how it works.
Yeah. So Stevie Mack mentioned sort of fire Mike Zimmer, which
Zimmer's not going to walk through that door after what happened in Dallas with everything.
Yeah, you got to remember, man, we burned a few bridges, man. It's hard to admit that. So the next question I want to ask you guys, like going into we talked about a few coaching candidates. What does that mean for the players that we currently have staff? Like, do you think that a majority of these guys that we talk about that we return, like, granted, we think we counted 9 or 8 players from Sean Lee to
Tyrone Crawford's of the world, Xavier Woods, Antoine Woods, Cheetah Bay, Lewis,
Alden Smith.
Yeah.
So we could be losing quite a few guys. But do you think like our cornerstone guys, things could change for them now, possibly, if we do get a new defensive coordinator? So
new eyes, new vision, right? It depends on what they want to accomplish and where they want to move into this thing. I know, for me, irregardless, I think the two key guys to retain are Randy Gregory and Cheetah Bay. I think you have to have those guys, and then roll the dice on whatever else you want to roll with and what you can bring back. But for me, look, as much as I love Alden, even especially if we're going to a 3-4, I need Gregory more than I need Alden. So if you're telling me I'm getting one or the other, give me Gregory, because I know he can do with head into the dirt and standing up and not disappear.
Right.
And I think to cover your bases, if Awuzie is cost efficient, which I think he's going to be, get him on a 1 to 2 year deal, and that covers yourself before going to the draft and just be forced or pigeonholed a second or overdrafting a corner.
Right. Spoon, how you feel?
Antoine Woods out there. Antoine Woods out there through there. Sorry.
So Antoine Woods, Cheeto, and who was the third? Gregory. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with BJ on definitely on Gregory and Cheeto. Those are 2 guys you got to come back. Pretty much you got D-Law already signed. LVE, I'm pretty sure we'll be back, and Jalen's already signed. But like I said, like BJ just said, new defensive coordinator, new ideas, new approach. If a guy like Marvin Lewis, I think he could get the best out of them. I think Jalen Smith could do wonders under Marvin Lewis, because Marvin Lewis coached some great linebackers. I forgot my guy's name from Cincinnati, and he's out the league right now for being suspended. I forgot his name, my guy. Huh?
Yeah,
Berkeley. There you go. Listen, I was a fan of Vontae's in college and from Arizona State. And I remember a lot of scouts were saying basically that this kid here could have been a first round if he didn't get into trouble. And Marvin Lewis, when he drafted him, he had Vontae stay over his house.
Right.
Stay over his house the whole time. And basically, listen, we all know the dirty hitch and X, Y, and Z. But the main thing is like he lasted longer than he can. Right. And he played very good under Marvin Lewis. So Ray Lewis, we all know who Big Ray is, Ray Lewis. Right. For that Baltimore Ravens 2000 defense where Marvin Lewis did over there. So getting a guy like Marvin Lewis, he would definitely bring out the best out of all these guys. And he coached a 4-3 and
Hey, Spoon, let me give you and another guy who wasn't a great cover linebacker from USC that played in Cincinnati, Ray Maluga.
Yes,
got a lot of stuff out of Ray Maluga as well in Cincinnati.
Yes, sir.
And actually, shout out to Stevie Mack. My bad, I did forget. Gregory did sign that 2-year extension a year ago. Gregory is under contract for 1 more season. Shout out to Stevie on that one. I forgot about that. I forgot about the 2-year extension he signed.
Let me ask you guys this: isn't there some type of bonus the Cowboys would get if they did hire Marvin Lewis due to the Rooney Rule? It's like a
That's for head coach. That's head coach, right? Yes. No. That's just for head coach, though.
Head coach, I think.
Is it head coach?
I think that's just head coach. Yeah.
Just swap them out, man. Swap them out. Get some kids, man.
Assistant.
Yeah, man. There gotta be some type of workaround. I knew
whatever you can do, whatever it takes.
And whatever it takes, win at any cost. You know how me and Spoon are, man. Win at any cost, man. So I agree. I think of course, DeMarcus Lawrence will be a safe guy. Also Randy Gregory, but I feel like from that standpoint, if you're a new defensive coordinator coming in, everyone is pretty much shifty and maybe be disposable. We'll probably get into a few draft talk because we can't avoid it in all season. But there's a few linebackers that everyone's starting to mention. I'm seeing that the Cowboys are hired on. Spoon's guy. So when it comes to calling, so maybe you could see a defensive coordinator come in and say, you know what, I'm not dealing with this Jalen Smith type mess, like, you know what I'm saying? So let me get one of my linebackers in house and really move forward with that. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, going back to it though, we really have to find out what's our identity. Are we going to be a 3-4 team or a 4-3 team? I think that's still the huge question mark. Granted, someone should get Mike McCarthy back on the phone. Like, hey, you forgot to answer one last question for me before you left.
Where are we going?
Yeah. So where are we going with this? Are we going to be more of a 3-4 scheme or a 4-3? And I think that will really let us know. But also the coaching hire, I expect it to be quick. Do you guys think it'll be fairly next weekish? I would say, because here's what I've been trying to tell Jerry. This time, take your laps around the dance floor. Just take your laps, kind of see who's in the building or whatnot. But I feel like seeing Dan Quinn possibly being hired to the 49ers and also the Seahawks, that possibility, I think Jerry could possibly jump the gun and just bring him in and be like, what do you need? Here's what we're offering. So,
I mean, and Lewis has got some interviews as well. I mean, here's the thing: you don't want to knee jerk, right? But you don't want to take too long either, because you might miss out on the one that you want. Could it happen next week? Sure. Absolutely. I mean, with this, I mean, you already know with the Cowboys, anything's possible. Sunday evening we might be hearing something about somebody. Tomorrow morning we might wake up and hear, oh, hey, they really like this guy.
Right in the middle of wild card weekend. It's like
the Cowboys. The Cowboys are looking at So man. I mean, I don't think they're going to drag their feet too long. I think one of the things obviously I've been talking about a ton. Clear, concise offseason. Let us know the direction, the identity, as you just said, of where we're headed, so we can be clear cut and move forward. And I think they Cowboys do what Cowboys do. Let's make sure everybody got through all their radio. They're basically the exit radio interviews for the offseason, and as soon as those were done, boom, they fired. Oh, you're gone. They fired him. And I think they're going to get the next guy in here pretty quickly. I don't think this is going to be a long, drawn-out thing, only because, like you said, these guys are taking interviews, Tuck, and you snooze, you lose. So, I think I'd be very surprised by next Friday we didn't know who the defensive coordinator is. But again, is it going to be, back to that chicken egg thing? Does McCarthy want to take his time, or is Jager like, no, go get this guy?
Like I said, I've been hard on Mike McCarthy, but I don't give a damn who sent the order. The order got done. So like that's all I care about today. Like the order got done.
But you know what? Here's the thing. It's okay to be hard, because at the end of the day, we've been suffering for so long.
Right. Punch.
We've been suffering. We're not, again, knowing how the staff was a couple of years ago, the defensive coordinator will still be there.
Right.
Will still be there. And it'll be another friend to come on here and bring another guy in. This is what we're not used to this. We're not used to immediate action. We're not used to having offensive line switch to one side to the other when there's a hole. We're not used to that at all. Adjustments that
we're not used to a CeeDee Lamb being available at 17 and us actually taking him. Like
how about this one? Let's pivot all the way around.
Okay, go ahead, BJ. Ain't ready. Go ahead, BJ. Roll the train. Start the train, BJ.
Here's the thing. I mean, let's pivot. But I'm saying I'm not going to pull the pitch train out right now. I'm not going to pull that out. What I'm saying is, let's take it now in totality of what we've seen with Mike McCarthy. Right? We saw them get more active in free agency. Right? We saw them not negotiate in public as much with the late night signings. Like, oh, here's a guy. Times that we were all on shows and we're like, oh. Holy cow! Right into the regular season, how they adjusted the defense, got rid of people, trade deadline moves, different things happen, get all the way through the season. Now we're starting to see, okay, you got rid of the coaches. So we're almost a year now of the Mike McCarthy experience. The one thing I guess we can hang our hat on when it comes to that is there's been changes within the walls of how they operate and do business. Right. And obviously it's a constant critique that's going to happen as long as that he's here, especially with Kellen Moore now with the 3-year extension, start the clock, everybody wind it, hit the button, start the clock. And just one of those things where I look at just from last off season through the season, the different things that are happening, we can kind of have that hindsight view into now with the exit interview. You got rid of the coach and the defensive coordinator and the defensive line coach, and how we're pivoting into the next situation of what's going to be for this defense. The one thing I will say, at least from Mr. McCarthy, not afraid to shake things up, unlike years past.
Right. I'll have to give him that. I mean, and I think the kind of the aggressive attitude we've taken in the offseason, it kind of led to on the field. So maybe it's just something us Cowboys fans got to get accustomed to, is being a little bit more aggressive, more assertive. Because you mentioned, I think like one of the first shows that we did this summer, what I did with you guys, we were talking about Everson Griffin. It was like we never really thought that was actually going to be a possibility. And it was like, boom, the Cowboys went and got Everson Griffin.
Yeah.
And granted, we were jumping off the roof at the time, but it was still exciting to see the Cowboys be aggressive in free agency. That's really not what we've done in previous years. So, firing a coach after 1 year, like that really doesn't happen in Dallas, so like, a lot of things are changing. So I would have to hats off to Mike McCarthy. Keep it up. But let's give me a few more games though.
Yeah. A few more than first downs Jerry was talking about. A few more than first downs. It was on defense, a couple more first down stops. Exactly.
And also sign your damn quarterback. I would love to be wrong. I would love to drop a video and be like, yo, Dak Prescott's going to get franchise tag. We aren't going to sign him. And then an hour later, the Cowboys signed Dak Prescott. So maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to drop a video, say it's over.
Get this thing rolling.
Dak out of Dallas. There's no way he's coming back. And then boom, Mike McCarthy's got it out for him. He wants to prove me wrong. Shout out to my guy, the Lunatic. He says, who would have more success in your opinion? A Jones defensive coordinator hire or a Mike McCarthy defensive coordinator hire? I mean, is it really? I mean,
who are their hire? I mean, who are their candidates that they hire? I mean, I don't know.
At this point, I would have to say a Jerry Jones coordinator hire, because the guy that Mike McCarthy hired last year really didn't work out too well. So you got to still hold that L. Now, Mike
gotta hold it.
Like I said, we've been in the parking lot. We shook hands. We're cool, and we're actually cooler today. But you still got to hold that L, man, because Mike Nolan's responsibility was strictly on Mike McCarthy, and that's his signing. That was his guy. So you really have to hold it. And I think that's kind of what played into it. It's like, hey, man, they got just extended this offensive coordinator and Kellen Moore. He's young. Only got about 2-3 years to really figure this thing out. I really can't ride this boat with you because you're sinking our ship right now. So I just don't know, man. So let's hop in chat, man. Keep those questions coming. Let's see here.
We're not signing Matt Stafford.
Sorry,
Tyler.
That's my guy, Tyler. Man, he's a Chiefs fan, man. So he's just out here. He's just out here, man. But that's the thing about these Chiefs fans, man. They're just living comfortable, bye weeks and resting their starters.
Sipping the lemonade,
Super Bowl reservations, and all sorts of stuff, man. It is what it is. So, shout out to my guy. We'll probably find out next Friday because Jerry wants the media at the same time the playoffs is going on. Yeah. And here's the funny thing, because I posted a picture of the LeBron block, and like Jerry Jones loves the attention. So you think about it. If the Bills come out and they win by 80 points, right? First thing on Monday, ESPN, the Dallas Cowboys fire Mike Nolan. I guarantee you, undisputed, Mike Nolan and Dallas Cowboys be the number one topic. So Jerry likes that type of media attention. And a lot of people have been saying that maybe that's what he's waiting on with the Dak Prescott news. Drop it, maybe Super Bowl week.
So that's what he said.
Yeah. So maybe that's the thing, but I just don't know. So Mike McCarthy also, though, had some interesting comments today about maybe second thinking his decisions of coming and becoming a head coach this year with COVID and everything going on. And he kind of said it in jest. And I know, he's trying to be a comedic guy, but sometimes there's truth and laughter. So do you think that Mike McCarthy is actually regretting coming to the Dallas Cowboys?
Spoon?
I'll say this. I'm going to say no right now because it's better than we ever had under Ted Thompson. In Green Bay over there, he basically had no say-so. It's the play call. That was the one thing that was said from him. At least in Dallas, he's having say-so. The thing is that us fans are not used to we're so used to saying that Jerry and Steven are doing it, but I believe Mike McCarthy is doing it. And again, it goes. We could tell because of how things change. It's not the ordinary that we used to. And so I'm going to say no. He doesn't regret it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure once Dak Prescott went down, he was probably, in a dark room at the bar in Frisco,
Right.
maybe with a little whiskey in the cup, saying, I was getting these rub downs up in Wisconsin, watching film, wink, wink. I was watching film,
right?
All good, and now my quarterback's out. I'm sure. Look, he's human. Right. I'm sure it broached in his mind. It's like, man, maybe, and at the time he came on and everything, you didn't really know how this was going to roll with the COVID and whatnot. I'm sure as a human being, I'm sure at times, not that he regretted becoming the Cowboys coach, just in general, he probably was like, man, damn, maybe I should have waited till they got this under control and brought myself, and then came out of a retirement the following year. So I think there's a little tongue in cheek there for sure. I don't think he regrets being the Cowboys coach, but I do definitely think, and look, in low key, I think you could probably poll everybody in the league that was coaching, probably at some point was up against it. Like, I mean, Denver had to play without a quarterback, guys.
Right.
And I'm sure that coach who's been there a couple of years now, Fangio, was probably like, man, did I really want to coach this year? This is ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's definitely, I don't think he regrets becoming coach, but I think COVID was stressful. Look, on us, on our everyday lives, right?
Yeah.
On our everyday lives that we live, we're like, God bless. And I'm sure he had a couple of moments like that during the season. What's going on, Lucky? So, yeah.
And I was thinking from the perspective of this. If I'm Mike McCarthy and here I am, the Dallas Cowboys head coach, and I'm sitting back watching the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're probably about to get Trevor Lawrence, probably going to interview Urban Meyer and give him the keys to the kingdom. Like, damn, bro, I could have probably set out and maybe got that opportunity in Jacksonville versus dealing with all this mess and Jerry Jones all up in my kitchen. And I got to teach this dang young kid coordinator glooming over me, looking over my shoulder. So
but he knew that when he signed on with Kellen, though. He knew that when he signed on with Kellen.
Yeah. In the words of Mike McCarthy, I needed the job. I needed the job. So it's like you're getting hired at a job, but this kid who's just an intern, he's going to be your supervisor. It's like, if I used to work, he's going to be your supervisor. So that's pretty much. So the lunatic, bro, I'm going to actually let Spoon have this question. This is more of a Spoony question, right? Spoon, how you feel about Xavier Woods coming back cheap and starting next to Donovan Wilson again? Because Cheeto and J. Lou find market. But no,
let me listen. I'll be honest. Look, I'll be very honest. I would play for free. Put it this way. I would rather go out and get Davin Woodson from ESPN and say, hey, play for a 1-year deal.
Who should be a Hall of Famer, by
who should be a Hall of Fame.
Snub. No.
Listen, I would ask Jerry Jones, can you please do something like the movie Invincible with Mike Papali, name, where can we have some folks come out in Brooklyn, Texas, or whatever, and try out as safety before I ask Xavier Woods to come back? First of all, okay, if we watch the Cowboys in the 90s, the comment that Xavier Woods made about not giving it all, hell no. Jimmy Johnson would have said, you know what, Xavier, you're walking home. You're not taking the bus with the team. No, Xavier, you're gonna swim. You're not taking the flight. No.
Let me ask you this. No. Maybe it was Xavier Woods. Maybe it was Mike Nolan's scheme.
Listen,
he wasn't good in the last scheme.
I heard that. Listen, I heard that excuse 3 times. 3 times. This is the 4th time. No. Listen, end of the day, I'll tell you this. When we all play sports. I know I play football. Y'all play football. End of the day, we're taught how to tackle. We're not taught about scheme. Right. If you tell a 5-year-old about a scheme, they look like what? What you talking about? End of the day, we see the man play. We see the poor angles he took it. Did we not see the Odell Beckham Jr. 51 or 71 yard in the round? And what do we see?
Right.
No.
Right.
No. Donovan Wilson came in and took an opportunity that he should have been had since last season and wrecked ham.
So let me ask you this about
Come
Donovan
on.
Wilson, because Jesse Holly, and shouts out to my guys in Late Night Hype, brought up an interesting point. He said that he's not sold on Donovan Wilson yet because Donovan Wilson still lacks in coverage. And right now in the NFL, the big bang safeties are really extinct. And so you need more of two coverage guys back there versus the hard hitting kind of Bob Sanders, Sean Taylor type safeties that we were accustomed to seeing. And that what it does with the new way the NFL is set up, it can give you costly penalties, which we have seen Donovan Wilson kind of give. And so that type of safety is really extinct. Do you guys agree? Or do you think that Donovan Wilson will be one of those guys that's going to be a cornerstone for our defense for the years to come?
Well, I guess we should just go ahead and kick Jamal Adams out of the league then.
He said Jamal Adams is more like a linebacker. He's more like a linebacker.
Okay, so if you have a guy, and I've already said Donovan Wilson to me is Jamal Adams light, but I think he covers better. So if Jamal Adams can exist within this league, I don't really understand how Wilson cannot. For me, the big thing for Wilson is you got to have a center field safety. Is what you got to have. I think that's why I've banged the table for guys like Justin Simmons, May up there from the Jets, and maybe Anthony Harris. But no, I mean, look, there's still room for guys to hit. I mean, look, it's not completely flag football yet. There's room for guys, to hit at the end of the day. And again, we're not. I mean, who covers better, Xavier Woods or Donovan Wilson? Go.
Donovan Wilson.
Wilson, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I think
I say Xavier Woods or Donovan Wilson is what I thought. What I thought Xavier Woods was going to be. I kind of felt that what Xavier Woods going to eventually transcend into, but he just never did. And I feel like at this point in his career, he is what he is. Like there's
yeah. And I mean, the one caveat to Wilson is this: once they get tape on you in the league, they find your weaknesses and do what they do. And now, hey, Wilson had a good. Now there's going to be tape on him, and we'll see moving forward what happens. Now, the one thing that we have to say about Wilson is he kind of excelled in Mike Nolan's system. Well, the next system comes in. How does that defensive coordinator view Wilson, and how does he use Wilson will determine a lot of Wilson's, value and what he can bring to this team going forward. But, I don't, I mean, hey, look, you won't cover guys everywhere in this league. You won't cover linebackers. Forget linebackers hitting, because we can say that about linebackers.
Right.
I need a linebacker that can cover more than he can hit. So I mean, I get it. The league isn't what it once was, but I mean, I'm not all the way out on the idea that you can't have a guy that can bring the wood a little bit, though.
I mean, for me, if you go back to A&M when he played in college, there was a nickname they called him. They called him the baby honey badger. That was Donovan Wilson before he got injured for his a
baby honey badger and a Jamal Adams light. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
He played 14 games, but he only started 10. And at the end of the day, the 10 games he started, he put something in that position that we haven't seen in a very long time. And 2 interceptions, about 3.5 sacks. I mean, he caused
fumbles.
Yeah, exactly. He is. You can tell that he's a player excelling. Now, he can excel. Now, this is his first time playing. Last year, when we saw him in preseason, we got hyped up about him, but the coaching staff never played him. So he can only get better. Now, going back to the coach, if we could get a guy like a veteran coach like Marvin Lewis in here, I feel great about Donovan Wilson. I feel so good about his future with us. But like I said, right now it's too early to even say what he's not going to be with, because he has shown more than what we had in a minute.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like that when it comes to Cowboys fans, we can't be greedy about safety play, man. So the little bit that Donovan Wilson's giving us, it's a lot on our scale, because you think like, okay, well, he's just decent first year guy. For what he's given us this season, it's been a tremendous upgrade from what we've seen historically when it comes to our safety play. So I'll definitely take it. Like I said, I think Spoon, I'm going to let you rest a little bit easy. I think we do move on from Xavier Woods. And I think, we'll be able to find a guy in free agency. You can possibly get a guy in the draft or whatnot, which we'll talk about here soon. I think we're able to really move on from Xavier Woods. And I think Mike McCarthy will too as well. Mike McCarthy, I trust, man. T-shirts coming soon. Cowboys.
Before we move on, I don't want any Xavier Woods fans. I don't want anybody getting under the impression that I dislike the guy. It's not that serious. I just don't like him for this team. He may go somewhere else and excel, and best wishes, but I think we just need to move on. I don't want it to be negative.
Like I said, y'all, I'm not afraid to admit I was wrong. Xavier Woods is one of those things I'll have to take the bullet for. Like I said, I was a huge Xavier Woods fan because we saw flashes. We saw flashes with Xavier Woods, what it could be, but he just never got it there. Now, like I said, at this point in the season, we got to move on. Marvin Lewis will be great in Dallas. D. Wilson's play is why I'm still wondering about Reggie Robinson's evaluation and why he's not sniffing the playing field. So let me ask you that. What do you think it is with Reggie Robinson? If you check me on Twitter, I've been using him on Madden. He's actually a savage. But why do you guys think that Reggie Robinson really didn't get the opportunities, especially with the up and down safety play that we had?
I think a lot of that is back to whenever we were in the discussions of team tank versus keep winning, different things or whatever. And for me, I'm like, look, the problem with this division being so bad was that we're still in it, and you're not going to see young guys play, right? So we didn't get to see the Bradley Anaz. We didn't get to see the Reggie Robinsons. Right. So at the end of the day, I think it kind of boils down to that. But, in true Dallas Cowboys fashion, here we are. Well, he was a corner in college. We kind of think he's a safety.
Right.
We're kind of playing with where we want to put him. And no matter how bad, safety play got, we never really got a chance to see him. Again, that's another thing that this defensive corner is going to come in and clean up. What is Robinson? Is he your corner or is he a safety? Figure it out, set him in there, and go from there.
Right. All right, I agree. So let me ask you that in the regards of moving corners to safety. Do you think there's a possibility that Jordan Lewis could be safe in that same approach, that maybe we can move him to the free safety position from corner? Because he did get reps back there, and he wasn't bad. I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. So you think that's an opportunity because I think that's the only way that Jordan Lewis remains with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think he remains as our nickel corner, just being a corner position. So I maybe think we could possibly move him to safety.
Is he 6 feet tall?
No.
Okay. Do you like how he tackles?
He's a good blitzer.
I ain't what I had. I said, do you like how he tackles?
Nah.
If you can't tackle at safety, I'm a little nervous. Now, what we can say is on the 6 foot deal with the new defensive coordinator, that might be something that changes.
Right.
Key notes to think about as they come into this thing. With Nolan, it was we want 6 foot guys. We're going to press, blah blah blah, all that rhetoric that we had. Well, now we're getting a new defensive coordinator in here. So right. So that might change in that aspect. Again, for me with Jordan Lewis, I just think he wants the opportunity to go somewhere and get a chance to start on the outside. And I just don't think they're going to bring him back. But again, I do give that pause just off the simple fact of depending on who this defensive coordinator comes in, as we talked about a little bit earlier. Tuck, what does he think of Jay Lou? Does he come and say, hey, no, I want Jay Lou back in the fold. I want to use him. So I give it pause. Free safety, no. I think he's a corner. I don't think he's a free safety. This is kind of getting back into you won't cover guys everywhere. And I think this is probably a lot of what maybe, if we're piggybacking off of Holly and what he was talking about with Wilson and the hitters. Well, let's move a corner to safety because I need a cover guy, not so much a hitter, but the principles are different, especially if you're going to play that center field position, that understand the angles and do one thing and do those things. And one thing that I don't care for the past 4 years that we always talk about, the angles that some of these DBs take that we've had in-house. Sheesh.
Right. All about getting those angles, as Drake was saying. And so my guy Tyler, like I said, he's a Chiefs fan. So I keep thinking about Justin Simmons back there with Wilson, bro. Yeah. How sick would that be? Yeah.
I said it 2 weeks ago. I'm like, my only look. If you only sign one guy in free agency,
that's it.
Let it be Simmons.
Right,
if it's going to be just one guy, go get Simmons and just retain some guys on our team, and let's get to the draft and figure it out.
Yeah, we operate a little bit differently here in Dallas than we do in Kansas City, man. So and like Brian just said, Justin Simmons has the same age as Dak Prescott. Keep that in mind. Yeah,
Todd Francis, you always won, dadgummit.
Always won. Like I said, let me get to a quick question before I talk about Dak. Shouts out to Moving the Chain. What about Tristan Hill returning? Do we like what we saw out of him in the beginning of the season? I'll take that one. Absolutely, yes. Tristan Hill was one of my favorite players that I saw out the gate. I liked how Tristan Hill carried himself, especially coming out of training camp. He was more military-minded, more job-focused, and you see that transcended on the field. Like, he was kind of that nasty streak that we need on the defensive line. And I feel like when he went down, we really missed that. But how do you guys feel about Tristan Hill?
If we're in a 4-man front, your 3 technique is good because you got a rotation to him and what we got to see from Gallimore at the end of the season. So your 3 tech is fine. You got that good rotation there. You got to find that 1 tech. I understand, but that 3 tech is good to go. completely sold. I don't need no more 3 techs in here with those 2 guys in building. Go get me a big nasty 1 tech and we can roll. Absolutely, what you just said. Tristan Hill definitely showing flashes and really trying to come into his own. You know, the injury that was forgotten because it was the same game that Dak, you know, had his injury as well.
Right.
But yeah, another piece that we're definitely getting back that I'm excited about to see him. And people, I mean, he's only 22.
Right.
Guys,
yeah.
he's young. He's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
learning this game some. So yeah, I'm excited for Hill.
Yeah.
I was wrong
You're
about him. BJ basically he was holding him by the neck, the spoon, just be patient with him. Be patient with him, man. You know, he did solid before the injury, and I predict he would have did a lot more if he didn't get hurt this year,
Right.
man. But I definitely can't wait to see him come back. He's a young kid, and again, he's a name that will flourish under a guy like Marvin Lewis. I mean, everybody in defense would definitely would.
Right. I'm definitely a Tristan Hill fan. Like I even as a rookie, I like Tristan Hill. I like his demeanor. He just didn't get the opportunity. And I feel like if this kid was able to get his opportunity, because a lot of people don't understand, man, when you're playing that interior line, you're kind of more of a rotational guy. You're playing behind a lot of guys, so it's really hard to get those reps. And so, you know, I think Tristan Hill definitely flashed from when he was definitely playing. Now it all depends on how he recovers from his injury or whatnot. But if he's fully healthy, I expect, like Nick said, for Tristan Hill to be a great spot in our rotation. So let's speak about Dak Prescott, because Mike McCarthy also in his exit interview said the question was, is it a fair assessment to say you wouldn't have come to Dallas if you didn't believe in Dak Prescott? And he said, definitely. Right. Definitely. That's extremely accurate. Dak has been a interest when it comes to, he was big part of my interest for coming here. Now, having the chance to work with him personally, I'm very excited about the future with Dak Prescott. Hopefully we can get the contract situation resolved. He's everything I thought he would be, and I'm excited moving forward with him. So do you guys think that Mike McCarthy is behind Dak Prescott so much that he's going to be able to pound the table? He's going to the front office and say, you know what, Jerry, get this deal done. I need this guy as my quarterback. Or is it kind of, you know, what are we working with? You know, are we trying to move on? Where do you think that Mike McCarthy really stands? Because like I said, he got some and one street ball moves with these interviews. And so, you know, so watch the belly button, not the ball, man. I'm definitely focusing on Mike McCarthy. But how do you guys really think Mike McCarthy stands when it comes to Dak Prescott?
Yeah, man. I think at the end of the day, it's not really about Mike McCarthy. You had a coordinator who was basically had a foot and a half out the door.
Right.
And they went and stitched him up for 3 years. I think there's no way, shape, or form. And we kind of know, we've heard Kellen talk about Dak. We've heard Dak talk about Kellen. I think there's no way, shape, or form that Kellen turns down Boise State if he doesn't know that Dak Prescott's going to be the quarterback. Right. I think that matters more so than maybe McCarthy, because even at times last offseason during the contract negotiations, during the season, I'm like, well, I'm like, well, is Dak McCarthy's guy? I was like, as I told Spurs, man, I wish I was a fly on the wall at the Jerry Jones estate whenever they were drinking that Johnny Walker Blue Label and everything, right. And they were talking about the quarterback and maybe really hear what McCarthy had to say and whatnot. And but I think, no matter what, as you talked about with the N1 moves, I don't care what N1 moves he has. Kellen Moore re-signed for one reason only. That's because Dak Prescott's going to come back.
Back on guaranteed money long term, or come back on a franchise tag?
I think he doesn't come back if he doesn't think the deal's. I think Jerry had to assure Kellen that the deal with Dak's getting done. But hey, we know what it is in Dallas, though. Sometimes it's like, sure, yeah, we're going to get him done. Oh, you signed a 3-year deal? Well, Kellen, let me tell you a little story. Every dollar that we spend, we got a lot of defensive guys. That's one less from Dak. I don't know. Dak ain't playing ball with me, Kellen. What do you want me to
do? With the 10th pick of the 2021 Dallas Cowboys select.
Yeah. Let me tell you. Hey, look, let me tell you something. Shout out to my guy Todd Black from Stargate. Man, he inboxed me about 11:30 last night. And we have a whole diatribe going back and forth. Finally, at 1 o'clock, I was, all right, my guy. And he was just like, would you Watson or Dak? I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Watson or Dak? No, I'm signing. I'm like, dude, I'm like, bro, I'm not trading the house to go get Watson. Whenever I got Dak in house, I can just sign him. And he was like, oh, yeah, but what if he's not coming back from that injury and he's lost some of his confidence? And, he's just shooting all these different things or whatever. I'm like, if you don't want Dak, you say you don't want Dak. Right. I mean, but at the end of the day, I was like, dude, it's going to cost too much. Oh, well, you could just trade that. I said, here's the thing that people that don't want Dak and want to move on, that you have to understand. He is a free agent. Sure, you can tag him. He can refuse to sign with whatever team you trade him to. He holds the cards as far as, I've seen a lot of Cowboys fans, especially on Twitter, talk about, just trade Dak and get these 2 first-round picks for X team. Well, if Dak doesn't want to play for X team, he's not going to go. So, again, I've never seen, for me, it's the first in Cowboys Nation. But around the league, I've never seen a team, set of fans of a team that just are so willingly ready to move on from a top 10 quarter. I would say top 8. I think argue top 8. I think there's no way you can't argue that he's a top 10 quarterback in this league and just want to move on for insert whatever Johnny come lately.
Let me ask y'all this. I don't know if I ever asked y'all this question. What do you think it is? Because I've been trying to figure this out for years. And I know at first I thought it was the Romo thing, but the Romo thing kind of went stale. Mm-hmm. And so at this point, 4 years into his career, why do Cowboys fans have this thing about moving on from Dak Prescott? What are they seeing?
May I?
Go ahead.
Please.
What's one?
Here's the thing. See, we have a good network right here. See, this is where you get the information from. Right here. All right? You either stay here or you go to Star again. You get great information. When you keep looking at ESPN, a network where, I said ESPN, y'all. Anybody ESPN watching, you can come holler at me. End of the day, false information. These guys, all they do is jump rope, flip-flop. 1 week they say one thing, 1 week they say another thing. And here's the kicker here. These cats who got their own show, they got it because why? They make it off of disrespecting the Dallas Cowboys. And that's what they do. Basically the same criticism that Dak would get, they'll massage the other quarterback, and the other quarterback did the same thing. It's always been like that. You think everybody famous. It's just like Dak Prescott last year was talked about every single day.
Right.
That right there get ESPN something to do. Right. Because at the end of the day, you have far more other quarterbacks on other teams that had same situations or worse, never talked about. It's the star. And the problem is, and again, no disrespect to any fan out there, your opinion is your opinion. But sometimes when you look at the wrong thing, you stick with it. Some don't even research. Some even judge off of watching the red zone. And please, the red zone, thanks to Jerry Jones, who basically helped started that with the negotiating, all that kind of stuff. The red zone is basically only the touchdown, or if you're near your end zone. It's not watching the whole game. Example: when the Dallas Cowboys came out and they had to throw that last minute, they were trying to throw that last minute touchdown to against Seattle.
Yeah,
an interception happened. I guarantee you, 99.9% Dallas Cowboy fans who watch the red zone judge back off of that one throw and now watch the whole game to see what led to that. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't be a hero. And another thing is when your defense is giving them points all the time, it's not easy for a quarter to go out there and try to do it. It's very hard. So this is why Dak gets all the issue. And then you make fun of his mechanics. I think everyone was mechanic. He has grown. His yards. He got 5,000 yards 1 year. Oh, this year when he got hurt, he was still leading the league. He was still leading the league in passing yards for 6 more weeks.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'll take a stab at it. I mean, look, a lot of craziness. I mean, we saw people campaigning for Andy Dalton before Dak ever got hurt. A lot of craziness stuff that goes out there. But I'll take a stab at it. Let me get a drink of this coffee. Let me power up real quick. It's just kind of been, is some of this one blade of this thing is definitely the networks. It is the networks because these people tune into FS1, they tune into ESPN, right? And you have, whether we're talking about the Shannon Sharps of the world or the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, or you're talking about what was the guy that was all about Wentz over Dak Orlovsky, whatever his name is. Yeah, so they're paid.
I'll pause you there. If you even think about the whole garbage time thing, that came from Shannon Sharp. That's Shannon Sharp idea.
But I mean, if you backdoor when those shows were starting to come into power, Romo was here. And, it was almost like somebody walked in one day and said at a bar, it was like, hey, Romo's kind of a bad quarterback. And all of a sudden, Cowboys Nation was torn. over Romo, right? And then they were torn over the Dak and whatever. And now everyone's like, oh, but back in 2017 when Dak didn't have Zeke, look what happened. But they ignored the fact that we didn't have Tyron Smith or whatever, and he was getting his brains beat in 7 times, over there in Atlanta and stuff. And it's like they don't understand to see the progression of what Dak has become as a quarterback. Just like Odin down here just said, his accuracy over 15 yards bothers me. Dak last year was the most accurate deep ball thrower in the NFL. Go dig it up. Like, it's a lazy take. It's a low hanging fruit take because he is sure you're 16, 17. You want to talk to me about accuracy and stuff? Absolutely. I think it's fair. As I told people, a guy was arguing me early in the year before even Dak got hurt. Andy Dalton would take the team so much further. He's more accurate. Lifetime completion percentage, Dak is higher than Andy Dalton. So it's just one of those things where they grab that narrative and they run with it. And some of it too, that's one blame. Another blame of this is we haven't won in 25 years. And you look for someone to blame. Well, who's to blame? Who's the head of your franchise, the face of your franchise? The quarterback. So yes, Romo, now Dak, aka it comes with a check. Time for him to get paid. But I've been in Cowboy chats and stuff during the game last year, this year. Maybe a pass is bad. And oh my God, see how terrible he is no matter what happens. Well, you can go see a Pat Mahomes make the same kind of errant throw, and he doesn't get raked over the coals for it. And this is before he won a Super Bowl, right? Or there's other I mean, again, somebody told me about Deshaun Watson, who blew a knee out and is back in the league, who had a serious injury. And, there's people say, oh, we should just move Dak and go get Deshaun Watson. So, some of it's the stars, some of it is the networks, some of it is the fact that we haven't won in 25 years. And then, of course, here's what they buy now. Oh, if you pay the new model, because everyone copycats in the league, right? Well, the new mode is, well, if you pay a quarterback, you can't win. So now everybody's like, oh my God, if we pay Dak, we've already been 25 years without winning. We had him on a rookie deal, even though we didn't go do things we should have done on his rookie deal. But we pay him, we're never going to win again. So let's go get the next Johnny come lately. So it's just a conundrum in Cowboys Nation. And it's not going to go away anytime soon until he gets paid. And then the argument be, see, we shouldn't have paid him versus, well, it's not his fault.
And to add on to that too, is like, the one thing about those networks that
Bo Allen was Dalton 2021. Get out of here, Bo Allen. Salute to my guy, Bo.
Ovoski, from ESPN, he got caught saying, well, this is during the Dak versus Winston. He says, well, on the low, no, I believe Dak is better, but they told me to pick Wentz. So when you're being told what to say on the networks,
right?
I mean, you're all getting a check. But my thing is, I like to keep it 100. I like to keep it real. It's not real. And again, it's entertainment. And then if you rewind, what Stephen A. Smith said 1 week and another week, he flip-flops.
Right.
It's all about making fun of the Cowboys, and that's how he gets his fans. I mean, listen, they get a check and everything, but wrong information. So
we keep the lights on, and that's why Darren Woods is not ESPN no more. He wouldn't play that game of, hey, we want you to take this section, and Darren's like, hey, I'm not going to do that. So I mean, those, it's not reality. Here's the thing, it's reality TV on these networks. What people don't understand in reality, look, when y'all watch reality TV, and magically this girl that doesn't like this other girl happens to show up in the club at the same time, and they go off, and security happens to be there. It's planned. It's planned. So whenever they're lining up to talk about the Cowboys, they're going to make it planned of going back and forth. Now, if something resonates with you and it's anti-Dak, look, it's like D-Law even, whatever player that you want and it's anti that player and it resonates with you because you're not winning, well, automatically, damn it, it's got to be the truth.
Right, because let's say for instance you walking down the streets of New York, right, and you bumped into Stephen A. Smith and say, "Hey, Stephen A. man, great fan, huge fan of the show. What's your thoughts on Donovan Wilson?" He would look at you like you're crazy and say, "Who?" Because that's not media driven. That's not what they're focused on. It's LeBron James, Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Like that's what they continue to rotation. Like it's just junk food. And maybe that's what it is. Like a lot of fans just get rotted into that mentality of Dak Prescott's the bad guy. Dak Prescott's the bad guy.
How about this for? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Here's my thing. If the quarterback's the problem, right? Since last year, right? We're 14-2 if we score over 30 points.
Right.
We're over if we don't score 30 points.
Right.
Doesn't really sound like the quarterback's the issue.
Doesn't.
But what do I know?
Not at all. And like Spoon was saying, man, you guys really have to do your own research. Like I said, a lot of people have been talking about, which we'll talk about here in the draft, the cornerbacks, Patrick Surtain. You're not going to get the full view just watching highlights. You don't, because even if you're trying to scout a cornerback, you don't see what happens until the play is actually there. Like you see the quarterback, because the cameras follow the ball. You see the quarterback drop back. You see the wide receivers take off. You see whether the cornerback made a play or not. Unless you're watching the all 22, you're not going to really see what happened. Yeah. And so it's really hard to judge and scout these players. So you're just talking off an emotion. And granted, we're all fans. I get that. But you also have to start thinking logically, and don't let these big networks rot your mind. That's why subscribe to the Star Gang podcast, subscribe to Cowboys Fans Only, Late Night Hype, all these shows, because we are the pulse of the community.
And we're not being told what to say. We're going to say what we want to say.
You can't. Exactly. Mike McCarthy can't buy me out, man.
Exactly. and those are the things that
he might.
These fans don't look at sometimes. And listen, end of the day, it's if a player is playing bad or whatever, and they say, listen, it is what it is. You can't lie about it. But to come out and constantly, when the Cowboys subject comes up, and constantly just troll with no real information. I mean, my God, how can you enjoy that? Again, they're professionals, right? End of the day, you want a professional take on everything. All you're seeing basically is flip-flop. If anybody research, they flip-flop back and forth. 1 week, Stephen A. Smith will come out and say, oh, you got to pay Dak Prescott. 1 week, he will say, oh, no, not with these numbers. Which one is it? It's
like you guys think that Skip Bayless, one day he's throwing a Zeke jersey in the trash, and the next game he's picking up out the trash.
And that's all to it. But even the comment that he made about the Dak Prescott situation, the suicide situation, he got paid after that.
Right.
He got paid another check after that, announced. So my thing is this: I don't believe he wanted to say it. I believe he was told to think of something, and he went with it, and he got paid. Because at the end of the day, Shannon Sharp, and I love Shannon Sharp as a player and everything. I know he hates the Cowboys. He keeps it 100 a lot of times. But my thing is this: as a player, the battles you went through with your other brothers for years. To hear a comment like that, and former players, former teammates who had issues, I would have been offended.
Right.
Again.
You address it. You're like, no, we're not, because he's done it numerous. And I said this on Twitter, right? I'm not gonna bash people who watch ESPN or Undisputed, because I have this weird thing where I have to listen to Undisputed to fall asleep. It's like the weirdest thing ever. Like I listen to Undisputed and I fall asleep. But it's like I listen to the show constantly. But he's checked Skip when he's gotten out of bounds about numerous topics, whether it's social injustice and whatnot. But for some reason, he just sat back and let Skip really just go off the rails without addressing it.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line. Shannon Sharp is more, in my opinion, is more real than when Stephen A. Smith comes from. And at the end of the day, it's my thing is this: when you want to talk about a subject, stick to the subject. If you don't know the answer, let the next man speak about it. I remember it was a Sunday countdown a couple of years ago. And Stephen A. Smith was one of the guys, one of the special guests. In the first segment, before they went to commercial, the minute they came out with the Cowboys matchup, he was about to troll. They all looked at him. Not on Sunday. Because why? You have former players who take pride in their work.
Right.
You haven't played football. You never play with them. So when you want to throw a joke, they canceled that. The minute it came back from break, where was Stephen A. Smith? He wasn't there. End of the day, listen, I don't pretend like I know everything, but the one thing I do is keep it 100. I keep it a buck.
You're right. Moving
who doesn't keep it a buck? You don't. There's a reason like that.
You have to, and I feel like, and you got to understand, like these guys are making money, but there's no way that you can fully cover the Cowboys, fully cover the Lakers, fully cover and you're fully locked into everything that's going on. They're not. So they're getting the very high level points and the low hanging fruit, as my guy Nix will say. It's just Dak Prescott, Dak versus Wentz. Because I always say this: if they were never even in the same division, they would never be mentioned in the same breath. To be honest with you, because they never mentioned Goff versus Wentz. That should be more of a debate because they were drafted right by each other, 1 and 2. That's never the conversation. It's Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz.
And then look, right, and now it's like it's a slam dunk. It's Dak over Wentz, right?
Right.
And they're not going to come back out and retread and say anything else, And case in point, and this is what I tell everybody: look, I could take any team in the league and be Stephen A. Smith and say they're an accident waiting to happen. The odds are with me. The odds are with me because unless you win the Super Bowl, you can go all the way to the Super Bowl. If you lose, I'm like, what did I tell you?
Right,
Just wait for it. Yeah. Just wait for it.
And Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers are a bad man. Okay, cool. What else?
Great. Who doesn't know that?
Hey, how many times? Look, let's be honest. When Tuck or BJ, Spoon, let's all do a show. We're not there for an hour. Okay, we're gonna say this. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna get on. Whatever hits, we're gonna hit. That's how knowledgeable we are.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time when my shows and probably you guys' shows, it's not scripted. I don't have no notes.
It's real.
That's nothing. Yeah.
How many times?
So here's the thing. I did a show. I did an NFL show a couple of years ago with my guy Messiah, and the one thing that we talked about was this: organic.
Right.
Organic. I was like, look, we disagree on football enough on different things. He's a Giants fan. Obviously, we disagree. Right. And I said, I don't want to sit here before we start and say, okay, well, you take this position. No. Right. Because as we talk about these games and what we think about a player and how you play, it's organically going to happen that we're going to disagree. Hell, me and Skywalker today on Twitter going back and forth about Pitts. It's no hate. We're just going back and forth about what his position was on my position. It's organically going to happen because of your views and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you got to be somewhere in the realm of reality of if I don't solve the problem at quarterback, we're not going to go anywhere. Right. Yes, you can pay Dak still and still be competitive, Shane. Because if you're getting rid of Dak, what are you going to go do? You can't go draft and who do you want to go draft if you do, right? There's nowhere you're going to go draft, right? Okay, you're going to go trade the farm. I heard 3 firsts and 3 seconds for Deshaun Watson. Hey, look at his contract. Is that going to make you any better? I guess Cam Newton will be on the scrap heap this year. Mitchell Trubisky will be a free agency. You want to bring one of those guys in here? You think you're closer to a championship with one of those guys? Like, stop the foolishness. Stop listening. And look, and to a certain extent, shout out to my guy Joey Ickles. Man, the cap is a myth to a certain extent. There's things that they can. There's never a player that somebody in the ownership that wants to say, they have people that are hired, capologists that are hired, say, hey, I want this guy, make it happen. And they crunch the numbers, they do what they have to do, and they go get them. So again, if you're moving on from Dak and you say you want to win a championship, show me how. Tell me who you're bringing in to play the position better that's going to get us there. Because without a quarterback, you're not going to win a championship.
And then Cowboys fans get so Dak Prescott, we can move on. And then when his brother says he can go to Washington, now y'all want to huff and puff. Now you're mad. Well, how dare you put him in a Washington football jersey? He can't go to the Saints. It's like Cowboys fans don't want Dak Prescott, but they don't want anybody else to have it. Let me rephrase that. Dak haters, they don't want Dak Prescott, but they don't want anybody else to have him because they know how talented he is. Like if you sit back and watch the game, it's clear as day. It's clear as day. So.
Listen, this is the NFL. It's not a PS5 or PS4 thing where we could just take the
or Xbox Series X.
I'm sorry,
for my Xbox player.
Okay, we're sorry.
I'm sorry. What's on a PS2, BJ? Come on, you both. You got both of both worlds. But end of the day. Look, my point real quick. Anybody who keeps making the same mistake, the saying that we got T. Will on this team, and it's been, 2 to 3 years, don't listen to hint Stephen A. Smith. Number 2, Dak Prescott. End of the day, this is not Madden. We can't take a controller and trade these guys in real life. We can't. Right. End of the day,
how'd that work out in New England, Tyler?
We was blessed to get a guy at number 17 in CeeDee Lamb. Very blessed. To me, that move was like that made me forget the Randy Moss situation in '98, right? Getting CeeDee Lamb. If you go back to a rookie quarterback, that's a waste. You don't want to waste that. You put Dak in that uniform with the healthy offensive line, with the receivers. Hell, you know what? I'm gonna go with BJ. Maybe get a Kyle Pitts at tight end. Guess what? Pat Mahomes, what's up? What's the deal?
Right.
Are we gonna play in this championship or what?
Right.
End of the day, that's what it's all about. If you wanna take a step backwards, don't complain about it. Don't do it because guess what? is going to take about a couple of more years. End of the day, we're tired. Been 20,
Right.
26 years.
Right. Tired. I'm tired.
I mean, damn.
That's tired, boss.
Yo,
tired.
listen, I'm seeing stores close down in this pandemic. Stores are closing down in this pandemic. McDonald's is hanging up by a thread. The last time we won a championship, McDonald's had a commercial. Come on now. We have beepers.
Right.
Come on, we were tired. We're tired.
Tired.
We want to see results.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, Nix, you brought up an interesting point. I saw you and my guy Skywalker going back at it back and forth. So, draft talk. So it seems like, I'm on the train with you. I think my guy Spoon's on the train with us. But a lot of people are anti-Pitts, man. This is a tough topic when it comes to the Cowboys Twitter. Yeah. So, explain kind of the conversation that you and Skywalker were having for everyone watching the show about this.
Yeah, look, and this conversation has went on for the past couple of days in the Stargame group, along with me and Skywalker on Twitter today. I think my guy, Patrick, the sports guy, kind of chimed in. He was stirring the pot, though.
Right, yeah.
Some other guys. But here's the thing at the end of the day is you have to, look, you're picking 10th. Once you get away from BPA, you get away from BPA and you just start, I'm going to select for need. You get in trouble. And again, if Parsons is there, you can give me pause. If Micah Parsons is there at 10, okay, maybe you can talk to me. Tell me the next defensive player that's going to be ranked higher than Pitts. And then the other side of that coin is, right, one of the problems on offense is we have issues in the red zone. Pitts is going to come in and immediately help the red zone issues. Now, look, to Skywalker's point, no one's beat the table harder for Jarwin than me. Right. When we drafted him, I was in Spoonie's inbox. I'm like, Spoon, this guy's a player. He's like, Jarwin? I'm like, bro, I'm telling you. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you have to be on the field and show me something. In the week, Jason Witten was holding him back, and, he got the injury earlier this year. At the end of the day, he hasn't got on the field and showed us. We believe the potential is there for him to be really good in this league. And sure, Dalton Schultz is
Jason Witz would never hold a Kyle Pitts back.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, hey, look, Dalton Schultz is a great story. Man, he played a lot better than we anticipated. I put up, there was a good post. It put up Jason Witten's 2019 numbers in Dallas and Dalton Schultz numbers. Boy, we hated Jason Witten in 2019, but boy, we're loving Dalton Schultz. And sometimes we fall in love with players when they supersede our expectations. Right. Hey, Schultz had a good year. I appreciate what Schultz did. He's not in the same stratosphere as Pitts.
Great point.
Period. He's not. And then the idea then comes into, and Cowboys Nation runs off the rails of, this defense was so bad, it has to be defense. Well, guys, we got two guys in the defense in the second and third round last year that helped this defense a lot in Diggs and Gallimore. Okay, the meat and the best prospect, the meat of this draft defensive prospect-wise is rounds 2 through 4, where we have 5 picks, and we can move around. We can move around in there and get us 2 or 3 guys in the second and third round if we so choose to help this defense. Now, obviously, free agency coming in, defensive coordinator, things are going to move, things are going to happen, and my take will probably change on that. But as we sit today, man, bring me Pitts, bring me the ultimate weapon, right? At tight end to go with this offense, and I can still help this defense get better. It's BPA is best player available. Why would I reach for a corner that might not be a sub 4.5 in Surtain just to say I got a cornerback when I can go get Pitts, who's going to be a difference maker at tight end for us day one?
Right. And to add on to what BJ's saying.
And one more thing for everybody worried about Gallup. Well, if Gallup does leave next year, well, you've softened that blow because Pitts is in house.
Right. Yeah, and see another thing with Pitts is that he play the slot outside and tight end. Here's the thing: a lot of fans get messed up when they look at the draft. And again, we're not experts, but we follow it hard. I've been going since '98 live to the draft, and my thing is this: when you're drafting, don't look for the best player in that position. Just because he's the best player in that position, that guy can be ranked 50-something.
Right.
And a lot of fans get confused with that. When it all boils down to, okay, what's a need?
For example, safeties.
Right, safety. There you go. I'm going to give you corners. Right now, everybody's falling in love with Patrick Surtain. Why? Because he's being mentioned all over the league, right? But for me, there's flaws. Because at the end of the day, last year...
I like the trade down.
Yeah, like you said, last season, he wasn't even the best corner. It was Caleb Farley. He's only ranked the best corner this year in college only because Caleb Farley opted out, and Caleb Farley also got hurt last year. That's only it. That's the only thing. But when you look at this, the group of corners in this draft, nobody really separates from anybody. Right. When you listen to other podcasts or other scouts, they're like, listen, I'll pass us the chain. If this guy Campbell from Georgia is there, big corner from SEC, I want to take him. You know, things of that nature. They're telling you that you can move away from Surtain. Now, the Cowboys at 10, right? You got a Pitts. Pitts is not only the best tight end, but the whole board, he's a top 7 player. The problem is a lot of teams won't draft a tight end and that high at 10. That's the problem. Not that he's not worth it. It's just the norm they don't do. But let's just put a Pitts on this offense right here. You mean to tell me we won't look as good or even better than the Chiefs offense with what they have? We could we almost had 1,000 yards per receiver. 3 receivers. If Dak would have played all year, listen, I think Coop probably would have 1,700 between Gallup and
he probably had about 18. So you probably had about 18.
The pace was crazy. Those 6 games that we between Garrett Gilbert and Danucci and you know this and getting hurt and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Those are yards being missed. If that was okay, crazy. So I just got like Pitts. He helps the red zone. Now, okay, I'm not saying that I like Pitts. My pet cat is Xavier Collins, the linebacker from Tulsa. But I like both of them. End of the day, in that first round, it's supposed to be the best player available. You don't. If fans want to come out and say, no, we don't need Pitts because we got Schultz, man, listen, I guarantee you, when you see Pitts on a better team and they're using the way they use him, damn, we're stupid. We should have drafted Pitts. End of the day, he's a top player. And on top of that, listen, I like Surtain, but not as much to get him at 10. Right. There's other corners in this draft. I love JC Horn out of South Carolina. Hey, Chuck, I love your boy out of Florida State. You know I'm going with him.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't want to sound like I'm a homer, but let's say, for instance, there's no different excitement for us drafting Patrick Surtain at 10 versus us getting Asante Samuel Jr. in the second round. Right. There's not like we're getting 1A and 1C. It's pretty much 1A and 1A. Like they're right there. Like if you watch the tape on these guys, I mean, granted, Surtain's a little bit taller and bigger, but as far as like availability and pure ability and athleticism, it's right there. Now, actually, I would give Asante the nod over actually Surtain, to be honest with you, because he's more of a depth player, and what he's going to be able to do is instantly step into that nickel position for Jordan Lewis if we move on and be a dog. And so it's like there's no Jalen Ramsey, there's no Chase Young, there's no defensive guy that I say, you know what, we get that guy that instantly changes our defense. No, not at all.
And even on top of that, like the 2 biggest needs that we have, right? We've been very talked about them. We need a 1 tech. We need a free safety. They're not there.
My 1 tech is damn near 3rd round-ish, maybe.
Right. Yeah. You know, like I said, I mean, there's not a 1 tech or a free safety there that's to be had. Now, I'm with what Lucic said. Sure, if you want to trade off the pick and get more, sure, I'm okay. But to me, there's not a defensive guy outside of Parsons. There's not a defensive guy that's going to go in the top 15 that I would take over Pitts. It's just where I'm at. Now, I'm okay with team trade out. Yeah, I like yards. I like TDs more. Yes, and I think absolutely that Pitts is going to bring more than 4 receiving touchdowns from Schultz and whatever. You know, I just again, I think it's a no-brainer. And you can fix this. Everyone thinks that we're going to fix this defense with the number 10 pick. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to sign some free agents, and you're going to draft some guys in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds to really fill out this defense. And again, revisionist history. Just last year, you got 2 starters in the 2nd and 3rd round in Diggs and Gallimore in last year's draft.
Their offense, because you think about it, last year we didn't. Because the same predicament last year is kind of when I started doing this whole ordeal. I went on live and said about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, we don't need another receiver. We got Amari Cooper and Gallup. Are you kidding me? Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, and then we had Randall Cobb possibly. Like, we don't need another receiver. We need defense. And with the 17th pick of the 2020 NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys selected, and look how nasty things got.
Yeah, listen, I guarantee you, Chris Olave or any other receivers from Ohio State on Monday on the championship game, if any of them score a touchdown on Surtain, I guarantee you, I don't want Surtain no more.
Oh yeah, well, they were already doing the Florida game.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and he got his that game. So, listen, end of the day, that number 10 overall pick, like BJ said and Tuck said, end of the day, when you hit that number 10, depending on what's done in free agency and what we bring in, that's when we're really gonna know where they're gonna hit at. But as of right now,
right,
that's the
key. Right now,
probably the best thing that they might be available at 10. And don't feel bad about it, because what we really need is that big body in that middle of that line. There's plenty of that in the second and third round. None of them are first round pick. Now, I guarantee you, for the ones who are honking their horn, get that big defensive tackle. I guarantee you, the minute Mel Kiper or McShay or anybody else give them an F. Why we did that? We're stupid.
A tackle? Are you kidding me? Marvin Wilson from Florida State. Who was that?
Hey guys. Case in point. Remember in the draft, right? Mr. Floyd from the University of Florida. He was right there. We could have took him. We traded the pick. We traded out. We ended up getting an extra third. It turned into the Beard, Travis Frederick, and it turned into Terrence Williams. We took Travis Frederick, and it's like, terrible pick. Could have got Travis Frederick in the third round. Why did you pick him here? Cowboys Nation lost their mind, and now we were crying when he retired this year. So I mean, it's with a grain of salt whenever you pick these guys and where you're picking them at. And as far as moving the chain said right there, good pull up there. I mean, you're getting Pitts on a 5-year deal though, because you drafted him in the first round. You don't have to worry about paying him for a while, so you don't have to really look. Don't worry about the salary cap. Let's worry about next year how we can make this thing right and get 6, and we'll worry about the money later. I'm not worried about the money. I'm worried about getting the 6.
I tell people, if you had the opportunity to give the Dallas Cowboys their version of Travis Kelce, would you do it? 100% of the time. Yeah. You do it. I remember all the weapons that the Chiefs have, who was their number one target? Travis Kelce.
How about this one? Travis Kelce was the only All-Pro freaking tight end because nobody got a second place vote. Like, it was just everybody voted first place for him with his 1,400 yards, 7 hands.
So if you have an opportunity to get our version of that, you can't pass on it for just for the sake of getting a
corner.
I need a cornerback, so screw it. I just got one. Listen, think of it. What if we got a Chavion Closs in this draft? Like, you.
Oh God! Listen, I recall a Star Gang show with myself, BJ, and Mary, Miss Mary, and what happened was somebody was, I forgot who was commenting about we have no cap space. BJ was saying you can manipulate the cap. All of a sudden, breaking news: Pat Mahomes signed to a big contract. Right now, everybody go to Spot Track and is looking how. In Spot Track, it's over the cap. It says that much cap space. BJ said, "See, you can manipulate the cap."
And then left money for
you want to do.
Hey, they had $1 over. They were like negative $1 in cap space, and went and paid Jones and freaking Patrick Mahomes. Like the cap. Yes, you can get yourself in cap trouble. I'm not saying that you can't, but at the end of the day. The cap is admitted to a certain extent. You can manipulate and do things to go do whatever it is that you want to do. They hide behind that, which is my big fear with Dak and franchise tagging him and said, we can't sign nobody because, we franchise tag Dak until after the draft and you pay Dak. There's no free agents to go sign. But there's ways to manipulate this cap and do what you got to do, man.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so you mentioned Collins, Spoon.
Yes.
Do you think that the Cowboys would take Collins at 10, or do you think they would trade back and get him and get more of a value?
As of now, I'm gonna tell you right now, he is moving up the draft ball so much.
He is,
and it's catching people's eyes. And I know at the combine, he's gonna catch folks' eyes. I wouldn't even dare to trade back, knowing that you got the Giants right behind us, who want a linebacker. You're gonna have Pittsburgh, who needs a linebacker. I will take him at 10, and I know it will be a rift, but I'm going to tell you this right now. What you're getting in the guy, this guy can play the Sam, the Will. He could blitz. He's a Swiss Army at 6'4", 260 pounds.
Yeah. Are you worried about his height, though, a little bit?
Not even. Listen, LeVon Kirkland Jr., in my opinion, from old days of Pittsburgh Steelers, this kid here with speed. This kid here is all over the field. And at the end of the day, that's valuable. Now, if whoever comes here as defensive coordinator and they figure we don't want Jalen Smith, that's the guy to get behind Parsons. He is moving up so much. Right now, he's where he's at. He's late first, but I guarantee you by draft time around April, he'll be talked about being a top 10.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it right now is we're shoehorning and we're talking about these picks and who we want and everything. It's early. That's why I tell everybody with a grain of salt, yeah, it's team picks right now or whatever. But I mean, as these evaluations, right, we have the Senior Bowl, right? We got the East-West Shrine coming, right? We got the Combine coming. We have all these different things that are going to happen. Man, these guys are going to go up and down, as we get into really laying into the work and watching the film on these guys, not the YouTube highlights, actual film, right, and seeing where, looking at the things and their tendencies and what they do, man, this thing's going to change a ton, right? And then, of course, your board's going to change depending on what you do in free agency. The board's going to change depending on what scheme we're going to run and what defensive coordinator we bring in here. Right. But, the overall prevailing idea and what I want to educate Cowboys Nation to is just like last year, whatever, don't think let's flip the script, guys. Let's say, man, defense is our strong suit and offense is bad, right? But you know what? At 10, the best available pick is this freaking stud at outside linebacker, right? And we need to fix this offense. Well, it doesn't matter if the offensive guy's not there. You take the stud outside linebacker for that defense, throw another daggum weapon over there, and then try to fix the offense if the meat of that draft is in the 2nd through the 4th rounds. It's the same concept. Understand and change your mind of thinking when it comes to the draft. Like, I just have to have a guy here because that's what gets you in trouble. Because when you just have to have a guy here, well, we think Taco can play DN and Watt Kate, so we're taking Taco. Right? Okay, well, man, we really need a defensive tackle. We're going to go Hill instead of Thornhill, right? Just different things that you can't be tied to it. BPA is where it's got to be, and in this stretch, and what we're talking about is the draft is right now. Unless a Parsons is there, as we're looking at this board, Pitts should be the guy at 10. Don't be scared to run off of a great player. Maybe the return of 84, since we missed on the 84 years ago, 98, just because, well, dadgummit, I just need a cornerback.
Right, just need a corner.
Exactly.
Just a corner. And I feel like with these cornerbacks, that's what they are. It's just a corner. There's nothing that just, exciting. If we say with the 10th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Caleb Farley out of Virginia, it's like, okay, cool. All right, so what are we doing after this? So it's like,
we're going to be like, oh, he's 6'3", 4'3". Hey, he's Antonio Cromartie Jr. That's what he is. He's going to be him.
Oh, but we're watching highlights from 2019.
Oh yeah, tell him, Tuck. Tuck. Let him know you're out on these guys that said that.
I'm team opt out until we get to like the 3rd, because my pet cat's an opt out guy.
Okay, but not in the first round.
Yeah, not in the first. Not my top 10 pick. No. I want someone's been fresh off the cleats, man. So before we let you go, man, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you guys out. Like as my guy Nix would say, pay the bills.
Pay the bills. Man, you can find me on Twitter at your_guy_Nix. Man, come follow me, man. We have a good time over there on Twitter for sure. We're always into some kind of shenanigans. Star Gang is the Facebook group, man. If you're not in the group, man, come. We're over 3,000 strong. Join in the conversation. We mix it up in there too. Star Gang is also the Facebook page. Like and follow it. And of course on YouTube. Stargate Podcast, man. Hit that sub, hit that notification bell.
You can find me at Spoonie881 on Twitter. I'm also with BJ Nix and Miss Mariella on Stargate Podcast on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, and you know what? Let's give old Spoonie a little rub here.
On Twitter.
He's been a little active on Twitter all this time. I've been seeing him on Twitter a little bit.
I see you on Twitter, man. Twitter is where it's at, man. I call Twitter like the barbershop, man. You got to be up in the barbershop, man, and know what's really going on with this thing. And of course, follow me on Twitter at JTuck151. Cowboys Fans Only on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe, and CowboysFansOnly.com. So I'm gonna leave it up to you guys, man, because I know Miss Mary ducked out on us. Because she already knew. Like, as soon as I sent the message, like, what? As soon as the news broke, I said, y'all busy tonight? Miss Mary said, nah, we're not. I'm out. I know how you guys do. So we can keep the party going.
I ain't got nothing to do. I don't go to work till tomorrow.
Keep the party going. Keep the party going. So keep those questions coming. So I see this question flying off in the chat about Jim Schwartz.
Okay.
Would you be interested in bringing Jim Schwartz in as a defensive coordinator? And I also saw Greg Williams too, so I'll toss Greg Williams in there as well.
Man, I think I'm more Schwartz than Williams. I think just shooting off the hip, maybe. But I mean, I think there's better guys out there, man.
Right.
I wouldn't put them over Gus Bradley. I think I'd rather like a Gus Bradley in here. I mean, again, I've already talked about it. I'm with you, Tuck. Marvin Lewis, for me, I think is the guy. Right. I think Marvin Lewis is the guy. I think that's my number one shot.
Marvin Lewis or Quinn. I think those are the two opportunities. Sports for you, Spoon? Nah.
I don't believe in any defensive coordinator who doesn't understand you can't blitz all the time and leave your corners out there in the island who can't cover. You got to make adjustments at certain points, and he lives and dies by the blitz. Now, as far as Greg Williams, I wouldn't mind him. The problem with Greg is that he could turn around a defense for me, but he just gets in trouble. Like, he got fired with the issue that was the Hail Mary situation with the Raiders and Jet game. He got fired right after that. He was the target guy. You know, it's situation with the Saints, but he does bring a tough defense everywhere he's went. But I'm Marvin Lewis and Dan Quinn all the way.
Greg Williams has had some really good defenses, right? But back to what you said, it just seems like he's always caught up in something.
Yeah, that's just it. But he's
always, he did a good job even in Cleveland, right? We know what happened with the Saints in the Bounty Gate over there, and then we look at the Jets and some things that happened there. I'll tell you a name that we haven't thrown out there though, guys, on defensive coordinator. Let me throw this name at y'all, just see what y'all think. How about Todd Bowles?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I would love it, but he's in for the head coaching job with Atlanta. They saying,
I
would love Todd Bowles.
Another name, a younger guy. I don't know if he'll get the look or not. Raheem Morris.
Yeah, see, I know Raheem Morris is one of the guys that were mentioned as well. So, but like I said, I feel like Mike McCarthy's want to go to older, proven. And so I really think it's going to come down to Dan Quinn and Marvin Lewis. But here, what the hell do we know?
I mean, if you
at the end of the day, we're going to be talking about, who's going to be our new defensive coordinator tonight. I would have said no or not.
I've seen this a lot, and I see Riff Raff dropped in there. Shout out to my guy Riff Raff. He said, "Matt Patricia, man, I am all the way out on Matt Patricia. I don't want Matt Patricia anywhere around here. And if you go back to whenever he was even in New England, the defense wasn't very good."
Right.
Yeah, the offense was really high powered. The defense wasn't great. Quinn choking all the time concerns me. Okay, as a head coach, but was that kind of more of a Matt Ryan thing? I don't know. If he's just a defensive coordinator, I feel a little bit different about it. But also a little birdie told me, Pat, basically going back to Patricia, up in the Lions is basically just cookie cutter hoodie Belichick and just. Right. He just said the same things, did the same things, really didn't change much, didn't do that. I mean, you got a Jeff Okudah, third overall, and, from the type of prospect that he looked like he should be, didn't really come to fruition.
Patricia has the look of a defensive coordinator.
Right.
He looks the part.
Yeah. But I just was the guru, though? I don't know. Here's what I know. It didn't come to fruition with the Lions, is what I know. And it's a Johnny-come-lately league. What I saw up there, I think I'm good on it, to be honest with you. Oh, somebody said Jeff Fisher. Dear God.
So let me ask you this. So Marvin Lewis being out of football for 2 years, would that be any concern? Do you think he's sitting back watching all the Dallas Cowboys film and studying all the analytics when it comes?
he was probably happy he wasn't coaching because of COVID.
Right. Yeah. They had to play through his mind. Right.
I had to coach for COVID this year. I think Marvin Lewis has been around long enough. It's not going to hurt him. What do you think, Spoon?
Here's the thing. A lot of times, a lot of folks. Listen, again, I respect everybody's opinion, but don't judge a coach coordinator spot because he failed as a head coach. There's a lot of parameters, things that happen in the back door that why he failed. It could be because the GM didn't do his job, didn't give him the right pieces. A guy like Todd Bowles, we saw him as a Jet, right? We saw him, he was defensive coordinator with the Cardinals, right? He coached with the Jets. The Jets is the Jets. They didn't do enough. They didn't get him a quarterback the way he wanted. A lot of things happen. But the one thing you can say is his special things, what defense, and the Jets always had a pretty solid defense. So, even Dan Quinn was part of that league. He's the one who with the Legion of Boom with the Seattle Seahawks. Don't judge him as a head coach with the Falcons.
Right.
Judge him as a coordinator because that's what he's getting interviewed for. What can he bring to the Cowboys as a defensive coordinator? What he did with Seattle with the Legion of Boom. Those are the Marvin Lewis. Don't judge him as a head coach of the Bengals. Judge him as a defensive coordinator. Right. What he did with Baltimore. That's what we're talking about.
Was Marvin in college last year?
Nah, Marvin didn't coach last year. He was looking for the head coaching job, but he got interviewed and then got the job.
Well, the one thing the other thing too, and the reason I bring up Todd Bowles is he does have a Dallas connection because he was on the coaching staff for Bill Parcells whenever Parcells was in here. So there is some familiarity there, right? With Parcells, he's been in house. Jerry and them had a working relationship and everything, obviously within the building. So that's the reason why. Now I don't know, as far as Mike McCarthy being the head, the spearhead that's going to go out here and hire this guy for defensive coordinator. I don't know if that's going to matter or not. But again, I bring up Todd Bowles because he is available. We know what he's done in this league as a defensive coordinator, and obviously he has some ties to Dallas.
Cool. So some other news surprisingly broke this week about Amari Cooper. So Amari Cooper apparently had surgery on his ankle.
Scoped it out.
And I guess he had scoped it out. I guess he got injured at the end of the Giants game or whatnot. So any concerns with Amari Cooper? Because he kind of had ankle injuries before.
Yeah, I mean, he had the, maybe the plantar fasciitis, right? Obviously big boot. The word is, although not official word, but the word is, he just had the ankle scoped, whatnot. But, I think what it does speak to is Amari's toughness. Whatever he had done, obviously playing through that with 4 different quarterbacks, right? 1,100 yards receiving, the number one on this wide receiver core there, Tuck. Shout out for them wings I get for the Super Bowl party.
You don't want to bet them back on the Mavs Magic game tonight?
Y'all got some guys on COVID. I don't know if you want to do that, but I just lost my guy Marquez Fultz though. I just lost Fultz. We can't have nice things in Orlando. Get to anyways, basketball. We'll talk about that later. Anywho, though, just speaks to his toughness. We can talk about body language and whatever, and people talk different things about him. But he played through it, showed toughness, showed a lot of grit. Easily with this kind of season we were having, and getting Ben DiNucci sidearm, whatever these things are that he was doing. Amari could have tapped us, hey man, my ankle, this ankle, this plantar fasciitis. I think I'm gonna take this surgery and sit it down. And he played through it all. So obviously something very manageable appears. It's not going to be a long-term thing, just getting cleaned out. Zach Martin did the same thing. All these guys at the end of the day, we're just more privy to it now because of social media. All these guys have minor procedures done in the off season. Scoping knees, scoping ankles. I got a little baggage here in my shoulder. Let's get that taken care of. And I think that's just really what it is.
Hey, listen, I applaud Amari Cooper. He didn't do a Scottie Pippen and do it right before the season. Right. He did it in January. Excuse me, I need Bulls fan. I'm sorry. But my whole thing is this. End of the day, it tells you that if he was in the playoffs, he was not having it until after the playoffs, or God bless if he went to the Super Bowl. But he took care of business. And end of the day, that speaks volumes. And he kept on playing through it the whole time. And listen, I have plantar fasciitis. It is the most annoying, painful thing to have. Either you take a shot every 2 weeks on your foot, or go for surgery. It's painful, very painful. But like I said, end of the day, he's a pro. Like BJ said, the quarterback situation was very horrible for us, and he still had 1,000 yards. He still played tough through it. There's the reason why we paid him, and he'll be comfortable. He'll be comfortable.
Yeah. So, Tyler, I'll go ahead and take that question. Is Amari Cooper tradable? I mean, of course, he's tradable. For the Dallas Cowboys, no, because he does too much. I think what he does, he brings a lot of focus when it comes to that secondary. He's a tough matchup. He gets clearly open, and Dak Prescott likes open wide receivers. He's a wizard when it comes to route running, one of the top in the NFL. And so, is he tradable? Absolutely. But do the Cowboys move on from Amari Cooper? I don't see that happening. So I feel like a healthy Amari Cooper coming back will be extremely beneficial for Dak Prescott returning. And like I said, I'm one of the people who I don't believe in moving on from any 3 of these wide receivers. We want to keep everything intact. Now, if we have to move on from Blake Jarwin or Dalton Schultz, then that's a little different story. But when it comes to Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb, I think they're going to be the cornerstones, especially lead us next year for next year's season. But talking about the offense, that's where I like the offense sometimes.
I think there's a tradable piece on the offense.
So where's that tradable piece? I think I know where you're going. Let me see.
I think it's left guard.
Left guard. Okay. Because I was going to go to the O-line. So do you think we move on from Connor Williams and we can trade Connor Williams at this point?
I don't know. Two parts, Sarah. I don't know if we will. I'm saying if you look at the lay of the land, you see what McGovern did at right guard this year. You know, you got a couple more years on that rookie deal. You can slide him over to be your left guard. Connor Williams at this point, his value is the highest it's been since he's been in the league, right? Had his best season this year. You know, are you going to sign him long term to be the guy here? So there's an opportunity there maybe to move on from him because you got somebody in-house in McGovern that can slide over and take care of that for you, and maybe you go get a piece. I'm not saying that they will. I'm saying if we're talking about a tradable piece on this offense, to me, it would be Connor Williams.
Connor Williams. Spoon?
No, I agree. Connor Williams will be the thing. That's pretty much it right there. End of the day, we haven't won anything for me to even entertain any type of trade on that offense. The offense is what keeps us in the game. Is what helps out our defense. Our offense is pretty much helping our defense out. End of the day, when that comes back to the lineup and the offensive line is healthy with the receiving course we have, and let's just say we get a Kyle Pitts, my God, right. SEO 2.0.
Listen, Team 50 burgers.
Yeah, there's no reason why to even discuss a trade at all because the other 31 teams in the National Football League, they understand that when that comes back with that core, and mind you, we was doing this with Andy Dalton. I mean, it wasn't a full team. You know, Andy was solid. Right. He's not Dak, no disrespect to any non-Dak Andy Dalton fans out there. But
because they out there.
Yeah, I know they out there. You know, listen, I like Andy, and I hope he comes back as a backup, know his role. But end of the day, we all know when Dak comes back, listen, it's just getting started. And end of the day, as fans, embrace it. Don't look at why are we going to trade Cooper for what?
Right.
Why?
Right. Why
I like what Lunatic said. I would say,
hold
on. I like what Lunatic said because this is if you want to bring that up about the West Coast, because this is for me personally. I'd like to highlight that just because for me, when we hired Mike McCarthy, the number one thing that I was supremely excited about was Cooper in the West Coast offense. He is literally, as you said, J Tuck, he's probably the best route runner in the league. Yes. Right. If not one, he's top three. I mean, you know, and one of the things when you're running the West Coast offense is route running matters. That's why Jerry Rice was so good. It wasn't the top end speed, it was the route running ability. And that's one of the things that got me excited about the Mike McCarthy hire was, oh my God, Coop in the West Coast, this is going to be ugly for teams. Right. And then we heard, well, it's going to be a marriage. It's he's going to learn the lingo. Still going to be Kellen Moore with some things. So, yeah, man. I mean, it would be great, Lunatic. It's not going to happen. They just gave Kellen Moore the bag, man, for 3 years. So,
Matt show something, Tuck. I want to show this real quick. Route running is more valuable than speed. You know why? Because route running, you can separate so quick. Speed, you have a bad ankle, your speed is done. You're one-dimensional. Route running, I'm going to show a clip here. Don't look at the cornerback he's doing against. That don't mean anything. Look because of his route running, what he does to the cornerback right here.
Oh, yeah.
You see that? You see that?
Yeah.
You see that?
Super ugly.
It's a quick dodge. He makes sure you go one way, he's in the other way. That's the whole point why Amari's so special. Now, you'll see his speed once the ball is in his hands. That's the main thing about it. I don't care how fast. Look, Tyreek Hill, we all know he's fast.
Right.
He has a speed. But the one thing he's not that great in is route running. And let's just say for some reason, an injury or whatever, his speed's not the same. You're one-dimensional. Amari Cooper's not one-dimensional. Here's the beautiful part. And I know Amari Cooper is spreading some of that route running love to Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. We know CeeDee Lamb got some route running as well. We see it all year. So end of the day, why don't entertain the trade? That's no more done.
Yeah, I actually I lock Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb in a room all summer.
Listen, Dak is coming back.
Yeah,
leave this office the way it is. Kyle Pitts is there, number 10. I'm thinking Kyle. Don't look at we took a tight end. No,
great tight end. Yeah, like Jacquez said, NFC KC baby. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to build. I mean, hey, look, remember, hey, it wasn't Dallas, Texas. They moved to Kansas City, became, the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, let's just go ahead and just go ahead and make that thing pop over here. You're going to get us that Travis Kelce, at the side of position in bids. That's all I'm saying. Am I asking for too much? I don't know.
Think about the one thing that we have that the Chiefs don't have is running game too. So, I mean,
exactly. Listen, I remember 1998 at the NFL draft. That was the year that Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf came out, Charles Woodson, right? And Randy Moss. We took Greg Ellis that year. I remember it was some Viking fans in Madison Square Garden sitting behind me, crying. Why we took Randy Moss? That's stupid. We already have Chris Carter and Jake Reed and Robert Smith. We don't need a wide receiver. I want to see where this cat is at. God willing, I want to ask him, do you still feel the same way? When Randy Moss came to the league, he took it by storm. You never just be settled.
Right.
You get more. You get more. You think the Chiefs right now are saying, well, we didn't need Le'Veon Bell. We got Clyde Helaire. Oh, we didn't need Taji Sharp. We got Mercado. We got Tyreek Hill. We got Watkins. No, you get them all. Look at Buffalo. You got Beasley. You got Stephon Diggs. You sign Kenny Stills. It's never not enough. The more depth you have, the more of a problem you're gonna be. The more that when you see an injury, don't worry about it. We got this guy filling. That's the beauty of it. Stop being so settled. Listen, we got Blake Jarwin, and we can have Kyle Pitts. Guess what? That's too much love. That's a lot of love we can have in that offense.
Embarrassment of riches, and I'm here for it. And you can still fix the defense.
Yeah, fix the defense. We can get Kyle Pitts in the first round and still do a whole lot in the defense. And I'm pretty sure free agency, they're gonna do the defense.
Yeah. I think we got another question up there about college coach defense. Maybe Shane threw a question up there for us.
Let's see where we at. Shane.
Yeah, scroll up a little bit. Right up. There you go. Yeah, I mean, man, we kind of touched on this earlier. I don't think they're going to go that route. Personally, in house, I think it's going to be a hiring that's going to be fix it now, and it's going to be an established guy that's been in the league, that's had great defenses in this league before. Mike Nolan was a buddy hire. Yeah, you've been a defensive coordinator. You've done some things in the league. You've never been a top flight guy, a defensive coordinator. I think this guy that they're going to bring in, they're not going to play around. It's going to be a young gun from college or a young gun on a defensive staff around the league. I think it's going to be a proven guy that has gotten it done in the NFL as a defensive coordinator again. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see Jerry reaching for a college coach. It's going to be someone, but apparently, maybe because apparently Marvin Lewis was at Arizona State.
Okay. Okay. Yes. In that case, they reach for a college coach. There you go. Fair enough. Maybe they do.
Hey, listen, I don't mind old school. Listen, I love old. Listen, I would love to bring in some old school guy like Herman Edwards together with Marvin Lewis.
An old school guy with some life still left in him.
Yes.
Yeah. No Monty Kiffins.
Yeah.
Don't bring in the Monty Kiffin. Dear God.
There in the booth, like Denver knocked out, man. Like, nah.
No Monty Kiffins. No Rob Ryan. No. Yeah. Come on. No. Look. Shout out. Look. And I like Rob Marinelli. Don't get me twisted. Don't get it twisted. I like Rob Marinelli. But at the end of the day, man, come get me a guy. The Dan Quinns we talked about, the Marvin Lewis's we talked about. Gus Bradley, Todd Bowles, even who's been great as a defense coordinator in this league. Don't worry, we're going to fix that still, William. We're going to fix it.
Go ahead, drop that stat one more time, though, Nick. We
are 14-2 since last year, all the way through this year. We're 14-2, scoring over 30. We are over the only team in the NFL. Let me say it again: out of 32 teams, we are the only one to win a game scoring less than 30 points. Or not to win a game, scoring less than 30 points. So if we don't score 30, we're doomed anyways.
Right. So we automatically just get 30 points with Kyle Pitts in our offense and Dak Prescott.
14 and 2 if you score 30 or more. 14 and 2.
Yeah, don't think for the tackles. Trust me. They in the second and third round. You don't need them yet. Don't reach. Don't ever reach.
Right. And again, there's the other side to it, Stevie Mac. Hey, you don't have to just trade back. It's okay to trade up.
Yeah, y'all ain't see Spoon's mock drafts?
Oh yeah,
I got it right here. I posted it right here.
Go ahead, show that mock
Hey.
draft. Spoon sold every pick for next year. We ain't gonna have no draft next year in Vegas.
That's okay.
We're gonna be out there.
Hold on, let me show folks real quick.
According to Spoon, man, we're gonna be out there in Vegas next year at the draft with no picks, man. But we're gonna be good though.
Oh man, where's it at?
Yeah, man.
Right here.
Yeah. The Spoon's like, I'm doing. Y'all watch that movie Draft Day?
Yeah.
Spoonie walking through the building.
I beat Kevin Costner. Right here.
So what we got? We got Pitts at 14.
Yeah, Pitts at 14.
No, don't move it.
Yeah, hold on. Let's Pitts at 14. We got Collins at 20.
Yeah.
We got Jay Tafili at 27.
Yeah.
Asante
Samuel Jr. 34.
And Cisco 160. Let's get the hell up out of Cleveland. We're done.
Let's go.
and all I really traded was from next year's pick, which is the first round pick. I was wheeling and dealing. I was getting the phone calls back and forth. I was in it. At the end of the day, guess what? We solved the issue right there.
Y'all fixed it. And you did the BPA. Boom. Example. Perfect example.
Kyle Pitts right there. Yeah, and I got David Collins. Boom.
I was going to say, speaking of draft day, I saw a guy on Twitter posted. I think he writes for NFL.com. Says, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I trade the 3rd, the 18th, and Tua to go get Deshaun Watson. And I chuckled because that 3rd round pick was originally the Texans. So you're going to trade. You're going to trade them their 3rd round pick, their 3rd overall pick back,
right?
Plus your 18th and 2 to go get the shot. Okay, right. Yeah. Welcome to the real world, my guy. Welcome to the real world. But again, like you said though, right? BPA is what Spoon did,
right?
Get aggressive
and took care of the defense. We losing about 8 guys. I think Spoon just drafted about 8 of them. Right back.
There you go. At the end of the day. And here's another thing. I trust in Willie McClay. He has done wonders doing the draft. Yeah. And I think this season he's been the most active with McCarthy because the communication. They both understand what they want for this team. It's not like I think TJ Watt. No, I think we go Taco and the big thing. They are consistent with what they talk about in the room. They stand with each other, and that's what makes a good team. And this year's draft, I trust it all the way. They hit on last year. Right. You know, they'll hit again on this year. I mean, look, Trayvon Diggs, he's playing like the best cornerback in last year's draft.
And they even tried to trade up for Diggs. And couldn't trade up, and they still got him. So, Shane, I mean, I was worried about Tyron Smith going into this season. So, I mean.
But I feel like, and I think we spoke about this the other day.
A year off.
I feel like we don't have to address. Yeah, a year off is going to be great for Tyron Smith, but we also don't have to address it because I feel like this season we were able to add depth with our O-line finally. So if one of those cornerstone pieces do go down, I feel like we do have a backup guy. So if something was happening to Zach Martin, we can throw in Connor McGovern or if Brandon Knight or whatnot. So I feel like finally for the Dallas Cowboys, we do have depth behind our whole O-line. Now, granted, it's not Tyron Smith and Zach Martin, but they're still suitable backups. So I feel like there's no concern. I personally was never a fan of drafting a Penny Sewell because I feel like for the left tackle position, I feel like even though it's BPA, I want a BPA that's going to play. And I feel like if you were to draft a Sewell and then say Collins is back healthy and Tyron Smith is back healthy, then what the hell are you going to do with them besides maybe plug them in at one of the guard positions? And that's going to be sacrificing Connor Williams, which not a bad thing, but I'm okay with that. So
no, man, I think I agree, man. I think one of the things of the 6-10 year that we definitely got to get was some depth on this offensive line. Now, am I concerned about Tyron? Yeah, but as things you alluded to, not just the surgery, but a year off to let that body really heal up the right way. We'll bring it back, and we kind of attack. He's going to miss about 3 games, right, because of the back. But with what Brandon Knight was able to do this year, I think that takes the pressure off of you having to go out here and draft the offensive tackle high. Yeah, should you somewhere in this draft grab your offensive tackle? Sure, I think you should, or just offensive lineman. Period. Yeah, absolutely. But don't forget about that guy that we got from Mexico last year, Alacron. Let's see what his development was. He played well enough to get to the league. He's been a year in the system. Let's see what he has on top of some of this depth. And look, we'll get your guy back that I can't stand from we signed him to a 2-year deal, right? Cam Irving. He's still in the building, right?
Yeah, Cam Irving. So
I think we got depth.
He actually played surprisingly well this season.
When he played, when he did play before he was hurt, I can't look. Look, I'll bang on the guy. I'll give him his props. He wasn't as bad as I thought he would be.
He was the biggest critic on Cam Irving. Remember,
I still am.
Yeah.
They got to see him for long.
I think it was like Terrence Steele was so bad earlier on, like Cam Irving kind of just flew under the grid a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we're so focused on Terrence Steele. But that was from 2019 in this year.
19
right?
this year, last 2 years.
Last 2 years. So but that was a great win versus the Saints.
I was there. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So Ezekiel Elliott, do we feel that Ezekiel will improve since the O-line will be held up next season? Yeah, I feel that, personally, Zeke will have a much better season. I feel like getting Dak Prescott back will help a lot, and also getting a better O-line. You got to think about earlier on, there wasn't too many holes to run through. Like, it's hard for him to really make things happen when nothing is there. And also, we saw Zeke was banged up a little bit when it finally dwindled down to the end of the season. But he warriored out and fought through it. So I feel like Zeke will have a much better season going to next year. But think about it, he was still about to clip 1,000 yards, even in a down year. So with fans, once again, going back to the high-level media, Zeke is the low-hanging fruit. And I feel like he's just the easy target, which was surprising because it's always been Dak Prescott being in the front shield before Zeke, because everyone was just Dak Prescott. Zeke could do no wrong. But now that Dak was out the way, it's like, Zeke, it's your fault. It's your fault we're not winning now. Yep. And so Zeke took on the brunt of the blame. So I feel like next year he'll able to get back into his momentum and things will pick up for him. So
and to add on to that, numbers can be misleading.
Right.
Numbers can be misleading.
Everybody wants to get rid of Jalen Smith, but if I just show you the numbers, you would think, oh my God.
We're in the league in tackles. And, and here's the thing. When this arm right here is the offensive line, right? No quarterback, no running, but when you say height, and hands to be over here already on the defensive side. Nobody should be seeing hands past the offensive line. Right. We've seen that all year, all year. And here's the thing: the networks, ESPN, and the other ones, Fox Sports, and all that, they understand. You know what they're doing? They're going by the numbers, not looking at the game. How many yards he had? Oh, terrible yard. End of the day, watch the freaking game. The game will tell you more. I remember when we got Amari Cooper in the trade, right? And I remember in one of the sports group I was in, they were talking about 18 drops. So I came out and I did my research, and I found a clip of somebody talking about, well, the throws that Derek Carr was throwing to Amari Cooper were not catchable. Basically, what I'm saying is this. In the NFL, let's just say right now, Tuck is the quarterback, BD is the defender, and I'm the wide receiver. Tuck throws me the ball. The ball's out of reach, but if I put one finger on it and I don't catch it, it's a drop.
Right.
And guess what? Them 18 drops, that's all we've seen. Now, since he came to Dallas, has he had 18 drops? No. Now, the team was a team that had drops.
Yeah, we had like 30 drops this year, but yeah. I mean, he did drop a touchdown pass again. But I mean, yeah, I feel what you're saying.
Which was actually surprising for Cooper. It felt like I can't believe,
Yeah, it was like, he dropped that, can't believe it. Yeah,
you should look at numbers so fast and just roll with it. No, research. Look at the tape. The tape will tell you. See, the tape will tell you more.
Right.
If you hear something or you look at the numbers, that's not it.
That's why I say and watch the tape, y'all, because if you're sitting back watching the game and judging everything off of that, you're emotional, you're wrapped up on the score, everything going on. You really don't understand the concept of the game, what's going on. You really have to go back and watch the tape. So I tell a lot of fans, go back and watch the tape. And it wasn't until like last year I even knew tape was available, and it opens up your whole concept when it comes to watching NFL games, because you're seeing it from a different angle versus just you're a fan. Like we tried the live stream game one. I can't focus. I was so wrapped up on it. I'm hyped, I'm amped, I'm upset, I'm pissed off. The same thing. Like you're not really seeing what's happening. Go back and watch the tape, and it'll really tell you the truth 100% of the time. So I had no issues with Zeke. I think he'll bounce back next year. Right. Is he a top 5 running back? I believe he's top 5. Granted, now it's kind of hard because Derrick Henry's kind of just taking that reign for the number 1 guy, but I'm perfectly okay with putting Zeke at either 2 or 3. So
I want to add this in. Zeke, people compare Zeke to what Kamara has done with the New Orleans Saints and Derrick Henry done with the Titans. Well, here's the thing. Kamara is not the same type of back Zeke is. Kamara is utilizing space. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. Kamara between the tackles, he will not have numbers like Zeke. Zeke is not used like Kamara in space as much, right? But the thing is this, like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry hit 1,000 yards, 2 years in a row?
Right.
Zeke's been doing that since he got in the league. Now, the 2 years that the 2 years that he didn't get 1,000 yards, this year where he missed 2 games, 979 was his numbers, and even with the year that he went to the court system during that he still had 1,000 yards, missing 6 games.
Right.
I mean, so when you hear the offensive line's out, the whole line is out. My God, that would tell you something. It would tell you something. Because at the end of the day, again, we're too quick to look at the yards, but not look at the reasoning. Right. What's the issue? And that's the problem.
Because people said that Zeke fell off last year, right? But his touchdowns were higher and they were up, from the previous season. So it's like,
more.
But when it comes down to Ezekiel Elliott, like I said, it's really just that he was just now the focal point of the offense. Like if Zeke would have been out and Dak would have been out, it'd have been Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's not doing what he needs to do, or it's just one of those things where they just need to find a target to blame. But to be honest with you, and that's why I was banging the table for Kellen Moore. I felt like this year's offense wasn't the problem. Are there things we can fix? Absolutely. But the offense was perfectly fine. It was just this damn defense. It's like, fix that, and everything else I'm okay with. So I have no issues with Zeke.
Real quick talk.
Yeah.
Another point with the Zeke was the Zeke situation. If you look at Dak Prescott attempts, passing attempts, in 16, 459, in 17, 490, right? In 18, 526. In 19, 596. End of the day, what is that telling you?
We're throwing the ball.
A running back cannot have the same amount of numbers rushing if the quarterback passing attempt is higher.
Right. Because Dak Prescott's evolving. Yeah.
There you go.
Zeke's not like his rookie season. Well, Dak's not like his rookie season either. Like,
exactly. So you can't just go off and look at a number. Oh, no, he's having a bad year. No. Look at why a quarterback can hold down a running back's numbers of rushing numbers. Very simple. You throw the ball more. Drew Brees, not trying to get out of the counter, but Drew Brees, yes, he's glorified for the numbers. Guess what? In all his career in the NFL, how many running backs he's had?
One. Right.
His attempts he has the most pass attempts than any quarterback in the National Football League.
Right.
Of course, he's gonna be up there with numbers.
Right.
It's the play call. That's what it is. It's not the player that he's having a bad year. It's the play call. Now again, 596 was Dak's highest. It's gonna get higher and higher and higher. Right. So Zeke's numbers could dip. And at the end of the day, there is a rule. There is a superstitious thing out there that says that no running back who's ever led the league in rushing has a team and never went to the Super Bowl. I like to keep it that way. Zeke don't need to he doesn't need to lead the league in rushing no more.
Right.
I want to go to camp.
No. I mean, Emmitt Smith led the league in rushing. We won a Super Bowl.
It's been a long time since that happened.
Just saying. Don't leave that out of there. Don't leave that out of there. And Emmitt would have had, if he had to sell them first 2 games, he ended up with over 1,800 yards. He would have had 2,000 yards there. But neither here nor there. Neither here nor there when it comes to that. At the end of the day, man, when it comes to Zeke, Zeke's fine, man. I think at the end of the day, what it boils down to is when you got a Pollard and whatnot, you got to find a way. I've talked about this tremendously. I talked about it on the post-game show right after the game. Right. I talked about it. I said, hey, I knew then, as the Life of Philly's talking about it here, I knew then Cowboys Nation was going to lose their minds, go ham, talk about, let's replace Zeke with Pollard. I said, no, what you got to do is you got to find a marriage. You got to be able to marry them in the backfield together. Right. And if you go back to a couple of years ago, the best way to use these guys is how the Saints used Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara together. Find a way to use them that way together to get the best out of them for this offense. And the other thing, too, is identity. If you want to understand this, we're going to be a passing team moving forward. We're not a run team no more. The Garrett stuff's gone. Whenever Zeke was eating them yards and doing those things, we were a running team first.
Right.
That's not what we are. Dak would have had 5,000 passing yards last year if it wasn't for drops. You saw what kind of clip he was on this year throwing the ball. So, I mean, we're transitioning offensively more to a passing team, which it is a passing league now.
Right.
You know, and now it feels like, well, you shouldn't have paid. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for the pay, don't pay, whatever.
Right.
The one thing I would like to see from Zeke now and what he's done in this league, take that LeBron approach a little bit. Go ahead and start investing in your body in the offseason and doing certain things right now that you can, you know, and to extend your career and be the best possible version of Zeke that we can have.
Right. And I'll jump back to your question, Brian, but I'm going to address this one. Like workhorse backs don't win Super Bowls. Yeah, say that to Beast Mode, man. Tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because people think like, oh, you don't need a running back to win a Super Bowl or whatnot. Who was the Chiefs leading on in the Super Bowl last year? It was Williams, right? Like when the really hits the fan, you tend to lean on your running back. So you still need a running back. You still need a running game, and especially going through the grunt season of the playoffs, they can definitely be beneficial for you. So don't fully count out Zeke. Granted, we're a passing team. I think we will be more moving forward. Yeah. But when you go into those cold Green Bay games, you don't need to hand the ball to Ezekiel Elliott and also Tony Pollard. You don't need that run game there for you. Yeah. And, you know, so
I mean, and LeGarrette Blount too was a bell cow for the Patriots and the Eagles and the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl, right? So I mean, there's there now we can talk about as far as do you pay a bell cow or not? Do you rotate them out? I mean, that's a completely different conversation. But you can win with the bell cow running back,
right?
I don't think that you cannot. I mean, look, if there was a clear cut, surefire cookie cutter way to go win the Super Bowl, everybody be doing it,
right? Yeah. You think we ain't try? Yeah. So this is a funny question because I was like, who the hell is Sedarian? Like, oh yeah, CD. Like, call him by like your mom and call you by your Sedarian. Get that's what you did.
Sedarian, get in here. You dropped that ball again.
CD's in trouble for dropping these balls. So you think what do you think about Sedarian dropping the ball after Dak went down?
Man, you know, the thing that sucked, right? We didn't really see him drop any balls. And then the very first game, he's a team captain because we rotate team captains every week, was the first game against Washington. Had a couple of drops, right? And you saw a little bit here and there, but then the big one, right, against the Giants, right? If he catches it, maybe he walks in, we take the lead late. Rookie mistakes, obviously, something that you don't want to see a trend from him. Definitely didn't see him drop as many passes or balls as it was in college. I think it's more of a blip than an issue. You know, was it something to do with the way the ball was delivered after Dak went down? Possibly. There wasn't as much zip on the ball. We know that there wasn't as much zip, and maybe that caused some issues for him to catch the ball because that can happen. That's definitely it can be a chink in the armor there when you're expecting the ball to hit you a certain way at a certain time, and you twitch a little too soon or a little too late on the ball because you're trying to adjust. So it could have been an issue there. You know, I'm not concerned about what happens with the draw. But I would say at least put a pin and let's see what happens next year and maybe follow and see what happens. Because, hey, look, Malcolm Gubbs dropped some passes. We talked about how many passes were dropped last year. Even Reggie Cobbin dropped some last year, right? We talked about, hey, this year with drop passes, even though Dak wasn't here the entire season, we're talking about it. So something to think about and look at moving forward. I'm not overly concerned about it.
Yeah. I'm not concerned. Like, it happens, rookie mistake. And I think adjusting with 4 different quarterbacks, it threw him off his rhythm. Because I felt like when Dak Prescott was the quarterback, him and CD were definitely in sync. So I don't see that being the issue. And I know as soon as Dak's able to really get back out there on that field, him and CD will be working together and we'll be back to normal. So I'm not worried about CD Lamb. You know, granted, there's people saying, well, he shouldn't have smiled after the drop and, you know, all this guy. Quit trying to judge players by how they care about their body language. Like, if their facial expression. He laughed. He smiled. I'm like, he smiles after because he was thinking, are you effing kidding me? Why I just dropped that ball? That's why. It wasn't like, I dropped the ball. Who cares? I'm still rich. Not a Jalen Smith type of ordeal. You know, it was more
took
about.
Me out.
Oh,
yeah. Swipe. Rumor has it Jalen Smith is somewhere right now swiping.
Swiping. Did we talk about the Jalen Smith varsity?
No, we haven't talked about Jalen.
I'll say this about Jalen, right? My biggest frustration, and granted, this all is swiping and the miscues and whatnot.
Whatever this was.
What threw me off about Jalen and really ticked me off on that last game versus the Giants was the one T-shirt arm sleeve.
Got to have that swipe arm free.
But it's a T-shirt. It's not like the tight fit. It was like a T-shirt.
That's all they had.
And And I was like, Jalen just looked goofy out there to me. Like, it threw me off. Because when he was doing the whole bucket thing, I was like, well, damn, did dude just rip his sleeve off? Was it a holding? Like, I was waiting for a flag. Like, what is going on? But I guess that Jalen needs to leave the swipe arm free. And here's what I've been saying about Jalen. It comes to the point, Dallas Cowboys fam, and also the Dallas Cowboys organization. It's a great story. I'm happy he worked his butt off and actually came back to fight and overcome so many obstacles. But we have to move on past Jalen Smith from the story aspect and see what is the actual production that you're leaving out there on the field. Because me as a fan personally, why I like Jalen, the story. And we feel like Jalen Smith, Spoon's talking about the celebrating and the swiping. He's able to say, you know what? They were going to say that I was never going to play football again. I was never going to play football again. So every moment I'm out there, I'm just enjoying the moment. Okay, cool story, bro. I appreciate that. But they just got a first down. So why are you swiping? It's a penalty. It's why they're swiping. They recovered the ball back on the onside kick. Why are you swiping? And I hate, and I'm not sure if this came from Miami with the turnover chains. I hate the running to the end zone celebration with the defense. We all a group getting the picture. Like, I hate that. Like, I hate it because you don't even know what happened. Like, they even do it sometimes like a penalty. Like, bro, there's 3 flags back there. What are you running to the end zone celebrating for? Right. And so it's just those type of things. I just
go off, Tuck. Go off, Tuck.
Maybe I'm old. Maybe it's an old school Tuck coming out, man.
It is. It's old school.
Go off, Tuck.
Jersey swapping, celebrating after every play. Let's all run to the end zone and get in the picture, even though we're down by 15. I'm just not cool with it. And I feel like Sean Lee, because you never see Sean Lee running to get in the picture. Sean Lee, like, what the y'all doing?
Right.
But it's just like I just can't get with it. And I feel like for Jalen Smith, it's time that we have to move past the story and really sit back and see what are you doing from a production value, which we don't see.
Yeah, I'm going to highlight a couple of things with Jalen this year that I'm like, okay, my guy, obviously, whenever you see, somebody else get a stack and he's swiping for him or whatever, but whenever we got flexed, he made it. Let me rewind. Let me rewind, back to that whenever the anonymous player and, Jalen kind of had some comments, right? And then, you forward to no matter what's going on, right? He's getting the swipe on to at the very end, the very last play that where we had a chance maybe defensively to go ahead and and when we got flex, the comment of, well, the owner ain't tripping, I ain't tripping. I'm like, okay, that's indifferent. Right. To whenever they break out, defensive leader, okay, and then whenever the fumble happens, the pileup happens. You got the Ricky Diggs diving into the pile,
right?
And what's Jalen doing? He's just pointing this way. He's pointing. We got the ball. How about diving the pile?
Right.
No, like he could have dove in the pile because Diggs came at. He was damn near already pointing that they had the ball. Diggs is diving into the pile, and I'm just like, Jalen, look, I to a certain extent, and I've said this before, and I'll repeat it here. I think having an offseason program hurt Jalen on the field. Now, we can talk about the leg and not be able to move and whatnot, but I just think from a conditioning standpoint, to get the best out of his body, I think is the simple fact that he didn't have the offseason to come in, work out. There was a bunch of Zoom calls. You got to work out on your own. And look, I'm not saying that he didn't work. I mean, he's in phenomenal shape. There's just between being in phenomenal shape and being a finely tuned athlete in-house, working with those guys that they have hired to get you ready to play a season. So I do think he suffered some of that. 2, he can't cover. And what they tried to do was mask him in a zone coverage. And either is what we found out. So I don't know. You got to find out, right? We talked about defensive coordinator. That defensive coordinator's got to come in here and find a role for him. If that's, whatever the scheme's going to be in a blitzing capacity and different things. But at this point, sadly in Jalen's career, for me, I look at him as, dude, you're a 2-down linebacker. And if that defensive coordinator that comes in here cannot figure out that he's a 2-down linebacker, we're going to come back here and see, well, Jalen's still swiping on that 3rd down. If they got the first.
Right. Yeah. Spoon.
Oh, listen. I got Jalen Smith jersey right in there. I like Jalen Smith. I love phenomenal story. I love the story and everything. But I agree. It's past the leg. You got paid. You achieved it. You got paid.
Right.
At the end of the day, listen. The best game for me that I saw Jalen play was against the New Orleans Saints when they were undefeated, I believe. And the way he took Kamara out, it was like, whoo.
Like Nick said, he was at that game. I was at that game.
Yeah.
And like I was kind of up and down, like, can we really beat the Saints? But after that hit, I looked every Saints fan in their face, and I was just revved up at AT&T Stadium. I'm like, oh, we bringing the smoke tonight. Like, y'all in trouble.
And that's and the game also against the New York Giants, not the 20 season, but the 19 season, when he I think it's Eli Manning, I believe, or Daniel Jones. I think it was Daniel Jones. The hit he put on.
No, he smoked Eli. He smoked Eli.
Oh,
yeah, he smoked him. Yeah.
Listen, at the end of the day, I know what Jalen could bring to the table. And I agree with BJ. It's the offseason, didn't do much. But here's the thing. It's the character. That's my issue. My issue is that, okay, the last game we played, you're swiping, but they got a first down.
Right.
Look first.
Right.
Then swipe. Don't swipe and the play not because you look bad out there.
Right.
You're celebrating for no reason. I didn't like a long time ago. I think it was again 2 years ago when right after he got paid, the camera was on D-Law and he's like this. The funny guy, like whoa. It's like, I hope you didn't develop some type of ego because you got paid. End of the day, Jalen, you inspire a lot of folks, a lot of fans out there, a lot of people who basically was told you can't do it, and they said no, I can do it, and guess what? They succeeded. Understand that. Don't turn into a diva or somebody that we didn't see before. We seen this after you got paid. But anymore, he's a talent. To me, he's a talented player. He's very aggressive. Listen, I put it to you like this: he's available more than LVE and Sean Lee. But end of the day, show your worth. Don't celebrate. Don't celebrate what you do. We see what you do.
And that's back to Tuck's point. Hey, man, by all accounts, Jalen, the human being, is an amazing guy. Right. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And his story also, I mean, for him to come back from that injury in college and be able to accomplish what he's done in the league, also amazing. But as you said, Tuck, at a certain point, we have to move past that. Right. And evaluate the football between the lines. This is no disrespect to Jalen outside the lines whatsoever. We know what he is as a human being. We respect everything he's done. But in between the lines, if he can't get back to where he was, or if it's just over with that injury, if that's it for him with that injury, then so be it. Then as an organization, at the end of the day, it is a business. Right. Using my spoons on at the end of the day here. It is a business. It is a business. And I get it. If you cut him, you're only going to save $400,000. Yeah, so you have to levy that. Like, is it really worth losing Jalen over $400,000? Come on.
They're not going to move on from him.
Yeah.
A lot of Cowboys
find a way to use him properly.
Yeah, for $400,000 to save, no, you definitely got to keep him because this flashes once again. But like I said, just mentally, it has to come here. You don't see your partner Van Der Esch howling at the moon after every first down. Like, just chill a little bit. Granted, the game of football is fun. They got a first down. Like, just chill. Jalen feels like that kid. Like, if you ever took your kids on a field trip, there's always just that one kid who's just wandering off. You get at the zoo, and this is one kid jumping on stuff. And come back,
what are you doing? Stay with the group.
Stay with the group. Chill. As soon as there's a possible turnover, he's the first one. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's go to the end zone and take a picture. Come on.
Nah, forget that.
And also too, another thing. Stop letting Jalen call the defense.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to move that up off of him. Like I said, when I watched the sounds from the sidelines, and during that game, Sean Lee's in his ear saying, "Hey, if you're concerned or you don't know, just go with Dallas. Just go with the call Dallas. Just go with that." And that lets me know, and we've had those talks even last year when he would assume it. When it comes to Jalen, you need to free him up to be a player. Right in between, and clear that stuff between his ears. Again, on that next defensive coordinator to come here and find that out, because again, not just from the body count at linebacker, there's no ifs, ands, or buts at this point. You got to keep him. $400,000 isn't worth. There's stuff there. You keep him in house. You just got to find a way to put him in a position to win. Like I said, get him out of coverage. Look, even if you're going to have him field on third down, have him come in. Have him rush, do different things, find a role for him, because I think he can be productive. I think the offseason is going to be big for him, getting back into better shape. We'll see where the knees at and different things, the drop foot, and whatnot, and move across those things. But yeah, I mean, again, he's going to be here. I've seen a lot of people, talk about it's time to cut bait and move on and whatnot. I don't think it's that point yet. I think you find a way with the defensive coordinator to make him or put him in a position to be successful.
Yeah, Cowboys fans, just cut everybody, man.
Get rid of all of them.
Cut Dak, cut Jalen, cut them all. Like, just relax a little bit, man.
Yeah, 2.4. Post June 1st.
It's not worth it, especially with the depth that we have now. If we bring in, I'm gonna have to ask Spoon this question here. So let's say, for instance, 10th pick, we're sitting, because I know there's talks about possibly the Panthers taking Pitts. He's off the board, so we're sitting there at 10. We are going to maintain that pick. So at this point on January 8th, who are you guys taking?
If Pitts is already gone,
yeah, he's gone.
Listen, for me, I'm taking Zaven Collins. I'm taking that 10. I'm taking that 10. It's the end of the day, like I said, if there's questions about, like I said, Jalen After's going to stay, but LVE, but that. Listen, Zaven Collins.
Not a reach there, Spoon, with Collins at 10. You don't think that's a reach?
It's a bit reach, but it's something that we're gonna forget about that reach because the guy will bring something to the table.
Why would the BPA, Spoon? Why would the BPA?
The BPA out the window once Pitts is gone.
Once Pitts is gone, it's a done deal. Now, here's the thing: if Pitts is gone, I'll play that game. If Pitts is gone, that means one of the receivers.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
Dip it over there in the Tux land.
I'm just saying, if Pitts is gone, once somebody slip, it could be Parsons. Well, I'll take Parsons at 10. Yeah. I'll take him at 10. Okay, if it's Devontae Smith for some reason, somebody's gonna be calling, and I'll drop back and take all their picks.
Well, no, you gotta stick it. No, gotta stick it in. That was the rule.
So, stick it in. 10. If somebody slip, I'm thinking if it's Parsons, I'm taking Parsons.
All right.
I got to slip.
That's okay. No, stick with your Collins. I like the Collins pick. It's sexy. I like the Collins pick. Stick with your Collins pick. I'm gonna go with. Let's say Parsons is gone too. I'm gonna take Parsons out of the equation as well.
All right.
I think Parsons for me would be the layup drill at that point.
I'm taking
okay, taking Collins. I'm gonna say let's say Parsons Pitts is gone. Man, wide receiver would be sexy, but I'm not going wide receiver. If I just gotta take a cornerback at 10. If you're saying, you know what, the best availability is gone, but I can't trade back. We didn't get enough done. We just got to take a cornerback. I look at Surtain. I'm like, well, right, should help the chemistry on the back end, right? Because he played with Diggs and everything. I mean that counts for something. Then you got the athletic freak possibly with Farley, and we've seen Vontae corners do well in this league, right? I just I think I'm Jace Horn. I think if you're going to force me at a corner at 10, I think I'm taking Horn, man. I think that's where I'm at right now.
And BJ, JC Horn is rising up. Some people are saying that they like him over Surtain and Farley. So that's not a bad move. Again, somebody's.
I'll tell you what. I gotta look. If I had enough guts, I'd pull the trigger on Farley. But see, Tuck has pulled me over to this. Well, if they haven't played this year, we can't take it. He's kind of pulled me over a little bit because you don't get better at football not playing football. Right, so he's kind of pulled me over. If I had the guts, I'd take the 6'3", the 4.3 speed, the length, and everything. But he didn't play. I don't know. So JC Horn, man, I think gun to the head right now.
Yeah, you want guys who definitely play this shit. Definitely.
Right. Well, actually, BJ, I'm tossing that rule out the window because I said Pitts was gone. I didn't say Chase was gone.
Look at you. You dirty dog. You dirty dog, you.
Hey, Jamar Chase, man, I'll change my opt-out rules for you, bro. Nah, that there you go, your Gallup replacement. Everything is back in lovely now. But realistically, like I said, when it comes down to these corners, I feel like if it comes down to that position, a corner would be my main focus. I think I like Collins, but I feel like 10.
Yeah.
But like you said, Spoon, if it works out, you're set. But if it doesn't, you're thinking, oh man, you could have got him late. You could have got him in the second round. But like I feel like combine wise, he could possibly jump because with that size, and he's gonna jump. So it really depends. But if it comes down to the corner, and I watched tape on these guys for like the past 2 weeks, and I feel like Surtain is the safest. Like I said, it's Christmas socks. There's nothing to get excited about it. It's going to keep you warm. It's a nice winter coat. Put it on. You're perfectly fine. You add him with Diggs. You have that chemistry of them both working at Alabama or being at Alabama. Not a flashy combine type numbers. Nothing too sexy about him. Like if you think about it, for the most part, he does have a lot of tight windows. So he does, he has recovery speed. I'll say that.
Right.
And so it's not sexy. You watch Caleb Farley and then you watch Paxton Surtain, you pretty much wouldn't fall asleep. But I feel like overall, I trust Surtain a lot more than I do Farley.
Whose upside do you think's bigger, Farley's or Surtain's?
Farley's easily.
Okay.
Easily. Yeah. Okay. If everything works out and he is what we saw back in 2019, I just feel like athleticism, attitude, swagger, just ball hawking skills, he's over Surtain.
Yeah,
I feel like with the unknowns going on, especially I think the combine is really going to separate these corners. But until then, just looking at what I know right now, I feel like Surtain is really kind of just a safe pick. You're going to get a quality guy. He's played with Diggs before. He's going to do his role. Nothing too flashy. Nothing's going to jump out, but don't expect it to be too sexy. So that's where I would go. I would go with Patrick Surtain.
Man.
Or I say, man. Merry Christmas. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna be tube stocks again for the third year straight.
Hey, but I tell people, I tell people this, man. I said last year, if the Dallas Cowboys get me CeeDee Lamb, I'll never criticize another Dallas Cowboys pick. We are good.
Ever.
I'm good.
I'll take that.
They made up for the Jalen Ramsey debacle. They made up for passing on Derwin James. We're cool.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Go ahead.
Let me ask y'all a question. Cowboys Nation, I'm gonna ask y'all this question. You know what I'm tired of hearing? Let me tell you what I'm tired of. You cuss on your channel?
Go ahead.
Man, you know what I'm tired of fucking hearing? I'm tired of hearing, if we would have took Jalen Ramsey, we would have got Derrick Henry or the sucker around. Man, I'm so tired of that take. We know. We're beating a dead horse. Yeah, sure, it could have happened. Maybe Jalen Ramsey would have forced his way up out of, I don't know. But cool. It's a cool story, bro. Sure, it could have happened. Hey, we could have had Chris Jones instead of daggum Jalen Smith. And I just, at a certain point, I get it. It is a valid conversation to have. But at this point, can we just move on? I'm so tired of that take. Oh.
It's hard to move on, though.
Oh, yes, you're a Florida State guy. That's why.
That was the one time I knew for sure. And I said, being in that arena and hearing the Chargers select, I thought it was going to be Bosa. Like, I felt like maybe Bosa was going to be that pick. The San Diego Chargers select Joey Bosa. My heart started pounding. Like, oh, my God. Here we are. It's our pick. Jalen Ramsey, a corner central all-pro. Once again, corner is right there on the board. Easy money. I had my Florida State hat on. I was ready to go. And then, we drafted Ezekiel Elliott, a running back, and I just felt deflated. But they went BPA. BPA, because we just signed McFadden and Alfred Morris, and then who was it? Dunbar, I think. We brought them all back. Dunbar. So BPA to make life easier for Romo, to give Romo more weapons, to already add Dez Bryant and Jason Witten.
But here's my thing, though. And when I said it was like, okay, sure, Henry and what he's doing over there, and it took him a couple years to get rolling, right? But I mean, what he's doing over there, look, 2,000-yard rusher, right? Say less. I mean, most rushing yards in a 20-game stretch in NFL history. Number 2 is the Terrell Davis. Number 3, Earl Campbell. All right, and then of course, we've seen what Jalen Ramsey did over there. For the Jags, we saw defense kind of, disintegrate. Now he's been over with the Rams and what he's done over there. But you know what you don't know is you don't know what would have happened if they were here, and that's my problem. And that's my problem with the take.
Ramsey would have choked Jason Garrett.
Yeah, I mean, that's my problem. That's my problem with the take. Sure, it's worked out for the teams that they're with, but you don't know how it would have worked if they would have been here. So it's like, yeah, it's great. It's working great over there where they're at, but we'll never ever know. Yeah, sure, fantasy football sounds great, but you never know what it would have been like here. So
because imagine Jalen Ramsey's a Dallas Cowboy and he does that GQ article calling every quarterback trash. Oh my God,
Garrett!
Look, I knew whenever he was doing the whole pre-draft thing with Deion Sanders and I played safety, but I'm going to the league as a corner because corners get paid everything. I was, oh yeah. We're not taking him. Jerry Jones.
But my guy Mendoza can speak to it because a lot of people don't remember Jalen Ramsey returned kicks. He used to have to change his number, after he returned a kick to go back out there. He was just such a dog. And it was like, that's the player I always wanted in Dallas. I was like, oh my God, he's right there. Like, I didn't care about anything else. Just get me Jalen Ramsey and we're good.
See, Jalen Ramsey with McCarthy and this staff right here, it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah, but
Jalen Ramsey with the Gavin staff, nah.
That first article, they trash and
trash.
It up, saying that Aaron Rodgers is scared to throw at my side. He didn't throw at me all game.
Jalen Ramsey forced his way out to get paid that fast. And here's the thing: if you notice, a lot of players
going to Jacksonville in the Brinks truck, got out the Brinks truck.
Yeah, listen, he was start. End of the day, listen. I don't get me wrong. I love the way. I love the way. I love the way Jalen would start trouble. He was starting trouble with every receiver. Right. I like that. When you come back and
Tyree Hill, special teams guy.
Yeah. It wouldn't work with the Gavin staff, and that's the key thing. It wouldn't work out.
Yeah. So
but I'm sorry. I got us off track there. My bad.
We got to move on. Like I said, I moved on. I moved on last year because I was at the Cowboys Rams game last year when Zeke and Pollard ran crazy over the Rams, and I met a Rams fan. I was down there. He was like, Jalen Ramsey is the biggest asshole I've ever seen in my life. Like, we cannot stand that guy, but he's a dog. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much true. Like, he don't sign autographs. He don't talk to fans, kids, whatnot. Like, but he's just a dog. I've been wanting so long. It's a dog in our secondary, man. And
we having Cat. No, see, no disrespect. I like Byron Jones, but again, it was the RKGs, the right kind of guy. So if you speak with intelligence and you got a degree, that's nice. I like that. But listen, I want the rough guys. I want the guys.
Maybe you got that in Wilson though. Maybe you got that dog in Wilson.
I don't see Wilson being a verbal guy though.
Sometimes you got to play your way into it. You just start playing this year. We'll see. Yeah. You might have a point. You might have a point there. But look, Darren Woodson was never a verbal guy either, though. For what it's worth. And he was a dog in between them lines.
Right.
No offensive buts. Oh, Marcus Peters. Yeah, that boy.
But see
he's boomer bust.
But those type of guys, they light a fire, though, because he had to back it up. And we kept talking about that Saints game. Think about what happened. DeMarcus Lawrence came out that week and laid the foundation in the media. So they had to back it up. They had but you just don't have that passion on the defensive side. Offensively, we always had Dez Bryant. I don't know, no matter what, Dez Bryant's going to put up a fight and light up that fire. Before Dez Bryant, we had Terrell Owens. But on the defensive side of the ball, we really just kind of had this nice, good guys. DeMarcus Ware,
great guy.
Great guy, but he's not.
Go sack it, lay on the ground. I got you. I'm here.
Hold the guy up. My bad. We just never.
All right, you won't get in trouble talking about Ware like that. You better calm down.
End of the day, I want a guy that if he has a cup of tea, after he sips that cup of tea, he's gonna smash it on the ground. I don't want a guy who's gonna sip the tea and goes, "I'll watch it for you."
We need that John Henderson back in the day from Jacksonville. Slap me in the face a couple times before I get out there. Mad dog.
And I was saying this about Tristan Hill. I felt like Tristan Hill kind of gave me a little flash of that, because but Tristan Hill got the late hit. I forgot what game that was. We got the late hit penalty.
Yeah.
The next game, he just came out and laid the quarterback out and said, "F it." I don't care. That's what I mean. And I keep saying, teams around the league hate the Dallas Cowboys. Why are we so friendly? Why are we so buddy all the
I
damn
don't like that stuff,
yeah,
man.
yeah, you know,
New NFL.
man,
Yeah. Michael Irvin, I remember back in the days, and
Oh God,
he may have got in trouble. I'm sorry. That's my favorite.
Let me lean back.
Cowboy, my favorite all-time Cowboy. I read a book, the barbershop situation, that stuff. He may have been an ugly baby, but damn it, when he came on the field, he was the first one on, the last one off. And guess what? Even Des Bryant. I remember Des Bryant. Who was it? It was it Jenkins? No, it was Scandrick. I believe it was Jenkins. It was somebody else. They were rookie corners, and no vest was supposed to be there. Des Bryant came in the locker room and said, "I'm gonna toast you. I'm gonna beat you." And
that was Jordan Lewis. Yeah, it was Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis on the practice.
Yeah.
His thing is, I gotta make a ball out of you.
Yeah, but let's pivot though. Let's
have Pussycat.
Yeah, let's pivot though.
You can't have that.
Do you see a guy that we can draft that kind of dog either side of the ball? Do you see a guy that's coming up in this draft? Like, oh, this guy could be that kind of mentality for us. Who do you see?
Tuck knows it. Tuck knows who the guy is.
Who?
Marvin Wilson.
Oh,
so
Marvin Wilson.
I got a video coming next week about this. The thing about Marv, it's in waves. And so you see Marvin Wilson and you think, that's it. I want that. And then you watch the game, you think, okay, is Marv out there? Let me check. Where is 23? Like, where is he out there? And so that's the thing about Marv. But Marv is a vocal guy. Marv will come out, because we think about what happened in Florida State when Coach Nolan came out and said, yeah, I spoke to all the players about social injustice, and we're all on the same page. Marv Wilson came out and said, no, you didn't. You didn't talk to any of us. You're just capping for the media. Like, he's that type of player. But the one concern that concerns me about Marv from the Cowboys, and my guy Bluff also mentioned this too as well, is that Marv is probably going to be a 3-tech. I don't see Marv as a 1. And so he's going to be back in a rotation. So I would love to have Marv there, but I think he's going to be a young kind of vocal guy who's just in the rotation where I need a solid 1-tech.
We need a 1-tech.
Right, yeah. It's a big
that's one thing. Yeah, and that's one thing. No matter if we're in a 4-man front or we're going to go to a 3-man front, it doesn't matter. Here's the one thing that is concise as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what front we're going in. We have to get a nose/1-tech. Right. It has to happen. I don't care what front. What defensive coordinators coming in here? You have, whether it be a free agency, whether there's a guy down there in LSU that can come in here and do it, but you have to go find you a 1-tech. That's got to be, for me personally, it's pretty high on my board. For me personally, even if you got to go trade for him, wink, wink. You have to solve. To me, as much as I want a free safety, and I want Justin Simmons really, really bad, I think I'm going to say the 1-tech has to be solved first, or it's right there. It's 1A, 1B. Like the free safety and the 1-tech has got to be fixed.
Cowboys need defensive tackle. We need a defensive tackle. We need a certain kind of defensive tackle. There's differences between the two. Tristan Hill's not a 1-tech. Gallimore's not a 1-tech. They're a 3-tech. They play outside. We need a fat nasty to sit right there over that center, either a 0 or 1. Hand to hand. And like I said, my guy from LSU, hopefully we can sneak him because I feel like whoever's Shelvin. Yes. And we can get, and I know he got in trouble for getting up to 375. Damn it, I love it, man. Get the 375.
You need that.
Yeah. LSU got magic. You got the 375. Get the 375, bro. I got you. I swear. Listen, you give a guy like that a nasty streak just to sit there and clog up that middle and clog up those run lanes. That's exactly what we need for these linebackers to flow. So think if you did get your guy Collins and you got a Shelvin maybe in the 3rd or 4th, that fixed the defense right there, man.
Listen, Chase Young from Washington football team came out of Ohio State. Look how vocal he is. He on the sideline. He preaching.
I want Tom Brady, a rookie
doing that.
Rookie from the NFC East.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Rami Reva is an old school guy. And you know what? Rami Reva likes that. Because guess what? Rami Reva played in the old school era. Right. This would get your team going. And here's the thing. That line is probably the biggest thing they have. Everybody else, except for Landon Collins, who's out for the year, not be no big names. But guess what? He builds them up. He lifts them up. That's what we need consistently all year long, dog.
Yeah. But
and I think we'll get that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to solve that DT, man. I mean, you just have to. As much as I love, a Gallimore. I mean, the only pseudo one tech we had is Antoine Woods.
Right,
that's what it boils down to, and he's a free agent.
But I think he comes back. But
I hope so. You need somebody. He's good. He's serviceable.
Yeah,
he's the rotational guy. But you need something. You need a little bit more. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And look, there are some free agents out there. You don't have to draft a guy.
Yeah,
there are some free agents you can go get, but again, that's up to Steven and when they want to open up that wallet. Like, is it going to be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4? Where are they going to, put that that value into that? Whether it's about Dalvin Tomlinson up there in New York, bringing him in. I mean, what about this? What about a hired assassin for the one tech? I'm going to throw a name at you. Sue, a little older. Sue for 1 year at one tech and draft you a guy.
Yeah. The thing about Sue, granted, he is a hired gun, man, but it's kind of I don't know.
I know he's a little longer than two.
Older guy, yeah, the longer than two older guys.
Yeah.
But just hearing that name, it sounds like a Stephen Jones type move. Like, it's a name. It'll probably be cheap.
Gerald McCoy's coming back. We're going to add them in there together.
Send me your thoughts on that, Gerald McCoy. So are you? Because personally, I think the Gerald McCoy thing was really going to happen. I know there was talks, if we got you out of your deal, then we'll
wink deal. Yeah, we're going to bring you back. I mean, Steven said it on the radio.
Yeah.
I mean, Steven literally said McCoy on the radio was going to be back. Now maybe that changes though with the DC that's coming in this thing.
Right.
And of course, look, if we're going to a 3-man front, I like McCoy.
Right.
I think if we're going to a 4-man front, well, I don't think McCoy can play the one tech. So why do I need you whenever I got Tristan Hill and Gallimore here? Right. So if we go to a 3-man front, then sure, for a defensive end, yeah, why not? In a 3-man front, I see McCoy bring him back. If you're not going to a 3-man front, I think I pass on McCoy personally.
Yeah,
but I mean they, Steven and them. Oh, there you go. So bring that fire y'all want, guys.
Yeah, you gonna
bring that fire. You might stop a quarterback's head. I don't know what to do.
Okay, I'll take that, man. But nah, man, like I said, I would rather roll out with my guy Shelvin. From LSU.
I'm saying sign soon, still draft Shelvin.
Right? Yeah. Have that in the rotational guys.
Yeah. Somebody asked about any one second for the free agency. Mm-hmm. One guy from our rivalry.
Yeah,
Tomlinson.
That's what I said. Yeah, Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How about BJ Hill? Is he? I think he's a free agent too, right? BJ
all three of them. BJ Hill, Tomlinson, and Leonard Williams.
Yes,
but
BJ Hill Williams will be signed.
Yeah, Williams is going to get signed.
Hill signed. I think if there's any opportunity, it will be with Tomlinson.
Yeah.
I mean, Puna Ford. Anybody buy on Puna Ford? Those are brought up.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, there's Puna out there. You ain't gonna talk about. Would you trade that pick still, Tuck? Are you through dancing with that trade?
No, I think the Cowboys fans crucified me. Absolutely.
Well, I don't care they crucified you. Damn it, Tuck. Speak your truth.
Speak your mind.
Shout out to that boy Sid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So if I got the Jets on the phone right now and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the draft and the Carolina Panthers select Kyle Pitts. Hey, this is Jerry Jones. Y'all want this pick? Give me Quentin Williams so I can have this one, and we can be done for the night.
Listen, man. What we won? Listen, here's the thing, and I know. Well, hopefully, we all there alive at the draft. We get out of the Stephen King movie that we all in.
Right.
We all there alive. I'll say this. End of the day, I know fans who go to the draft. They'll be pissed off because we didn't draft a player.
Right.
Oh, and then the best time of the draft, this is for the real fans.
Right.
Second to the 7th round. I met BJ in Dallas, Texas. Right, we were the same hotel and everything. He loved Blake Jarvin. I can tell you that right now. In my ear, was on the top. I recall they had us at the VIP section. We met Miles Austin on the ground. So we out there. We got our homework out. You would think that we was Mel Kiper and Tom McShay. We like, who got drafted?
Right.
Yo, BJ, this guy's available. He's available. All right, That got to be the guy. That's how it was. That's the best part of the drafts. We stood there until what's his name got picked up, Lamar Jackson. The end of the first round. I remember I was walking out the stadium, and because JB's Lang got the big screen TV outside and everything. Right. So we get out there and we walk in. There's been a trade. Baltimore, right. Everybody went, "Oh, it's Lamar Jackson." That's how it is. And then the second and third and fourth round, when you stand and you're sitting there patiently, forget the first round is for the hype.
Right.
The second to the last pick. Remember the running back he called me at the hotel, BJ, when we got what's his name from Bama? He went to Detroit. Oh my God, I forgot his name.
I know. Oh damn it. Scobar.
Remember that was one of the last few picks we had. Oh, we was there to the end. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the meat of the draft. That's what makes up your team. Not the first round. The first round is red carpet. The other stuff.
Yeah, but again, I mean, if you're trading, if you move off that first round pick, and here's where I'll question Cowboys Nation. I mean, what is Quentin Williams right now? 23?
Yeah,
right.
23. I mean, are you getting a better defensive player? Because everybody's told us, Tuck, we can't take offense at 10. We can't do it. We gotta take defense. We gotta take defense. So, do you take the 10th round pick if there's not a look right? And we've already discussed. We need a one tech. We need a free safety.
Right.
Those aren't available at 10. You're taking a corner. You're just taking a corner, right? There's not the Jalen Ramseys of the world. So why not take that 10th pick and go get you a Quentin Williams, who was a former 5th round pick, top 5 pick, right? And he's 23. He's on the rookie deal still, and he's the best defensive player you can get with that pick. It's no different trading for Amari.
You're gonna have to sign him.
I'll sign him when I gotta sign him.
Put him back in cash space. If he plays a great season, you got to sign him.
Leave the cap space to Stevie Jones.
You already know it's coming.
Yeah.
Things, baby.
Listen, I remember when Amari Cooper got traded for the first round pick, right? And that draft, the Raiders, without pick, took the safety John Abrams, right?
Yeah.
Do you know some of the fans were like, see, we could have had this safety. Now, the same people who talk about John Abrams, they ain't talking about him no more. They're happy with Cooper. You know why? Because he's not performing. Again, the draft is a hype thing.
Right.
Everything's a crapshoot. I'd rather trade my first round pick for a proven young player like Quentin Williams at 23, 24 years old, a top 5 overall pick.
Right.
And if you want to talk about contract, well, you don't get people another 3 years. He's on the rookie deal still. Right. So every day, that's a blessing.
Right. Because here's how the draft works. Right now, my guy Shelvin, maybe 3rd, maybe late 2nd. If Mel Kiper was to come out tomorrow and say the best defensive tackle that you must have is Sheldon out of LSU, all these Cowboys fans are like, you gotta get him. You gotta get him. That's the guy. Forget Patrick Surtain. Forget we need a defensive tackle. That's our guy.
Yeah.
You go off the hype.
Right.
You go off the hype. You need to think about it. Even that, right? What's happening right now with Zach Wilson? The hype.
The hype.
The hype.
And look, and guys get hyped up every year. And look, case in point, Cowboys, they should talk about safety. The other guy from Connecticut, Obi, however you say his last name. Right. Oh, him. Right. There's the safety, whatever.
Right.
Man, he's not even in the league no more. And he couldn't even look, and he bounced around. He ended up in New England, and he's out of the league. But Cowboys Nation, that was the guy. Gotta go get Obi. Gotta go get Obi. And it's like, I'm like, what on his tape says go get Obi, right? So again, if you're going to trade in this league and you're going to sign free agents, what you have to do is don't sign a name commodity. Sign somebody young enough that can help you throughout that entire contract, not the first year or two. Get away from the 1 year, 2 year deals with these older guys. Look, you traded a first round pick for Amari. You paid him, got to a second contract. He's producing, right? Same thing here. If you're going to trade the pick, go get a proven commodity that's going to be better than anything you can pick in the draft, which is going to be a young guy in Quentin Williams. Right. If you're going to go sign a guy, okay, sure. There's some safeties out there you can go sign. Why not go get a 24-year-old Justin Simmons whose best football's ahead of him? If you're going to spend money or quote unquote big money, spend it smartly. Use your assets smartly on young guys that can come in here and help this defense for the next 4 years, not Band-Aids.
Right.
That can pan out for a year or two. Quentin Williams, Robert Quinn, You traded, all right. You traded. You last year was deal. You got him for what? Fifth, sixth, something like that. He's going to turn into like a fourth. He'll turn into a fourth.
Yeah,
right. He's going to turn into a fourth round pick for us. Right. You signed. So you traded for him. He came in, got you 12 sacks after missing the first 4 games. Right, and then boom, he's gone. So what did you really do? Yeah, okay, you're playing the trade game because you got production from him. Fair, that's fine. You know, you got to get a gun in here every once in a while. You'll get a better pick than what you traded for him. But at the end of the day, you're kind of left holding the bag saying, well, what did you really get for it? So if you're going to move some assets, move them smartly for a guy that's going to be here long term to help you. And that's via free agency with your money and cap space, or via if you're going to trade. And again, if we're talking about fixing this defense, look, I'll get off the Pitts trade. I'll get off this offensive idea on 10. I'm just saying, but if you want to hone me in and say, we got to fix this defense no matter what. Okay, bet. Then let's roll up the sleeves and let's do it the right way and go get some proven commodities.
Right.
With the assets we have, instead of, well, let's just take a cornerback.
Right.
I'll give you this. Folks got to understand that some in the background of this NFL draft is a dirty game. It's a dirty game. And I mean, what I mean by that is this, is that certain folks will pay certain people to say something that will throw other folks off. Like, for instance.
Oh, you remember them Josh Allen, the tweet?
Yes.
Yeah. So right before the draft, man, all of a sudden Josh Allen quoted some racist rap lyrics when he was 13.
Yeah. Listen, here's the thing: Pat Mahomes was slated to go to the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Mel Kiper said it. McShay said it. Everybody said it. All of a sudden, we hear rumblings. 7 teams are trying to trade up. This is after the Bears picked Mr. Trubisky, after they gave up the whole house for Mr. Trubisky. Right. I know that GM should be fired by now. But anyhow, Pat Mahomes was slated to be in the 3rd round. All of a sudden on draft night, why is Mahomes getting all this attention? Gee, understand this. Sometimes like Tucker said, Zach Wilson, he's getting hyped.
Right.
Why? Because maybe there's somebody who's not popular, Cal Trask, Mac Jones, out of Bama, we're going to see on Monday. Right. End of the day, maybe they're trying to throw you off to not look at those guys right there. That's what they do.
Right.
I mean, look at Lamar Jackson. How they did it. Lamar Jackson worked out privately for teams. Privately. He didn't run the 40 time. He goes, no, I'm not running the 40 time. Why? Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is a bad team will draft me and have me sell jerseys because I ran a 4.2 speed. No, it's not going to happen. Right. I'm going to work out privately for each team. And that's what happened. Baltimore came back in the 1st round and they got him. And guess what? They got their guy. That's what it is. So sometimes they will throw you off by hyping up one person to hide the guy they really, really want.
Yeah, it's definitely the time of the year where listen to everything but believe nothing. You know, it's definitely a lot of different posturing that's going on right now. And the other thing too is, and I say it every year there's a quarterback that gets pushed up the board. There's a quarterback that gets pushed up the board. You can go all the way back to whenever. I mean, even when it was Eli Rivers, and all of a sudden, Ben Roethlisberger gets pushed up the board. Now, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Right, Mr. Trubisky, right, didn't work out, got pushed up the board. So with the being, it's like with the quarterback position being the most important position on the field, and it's a quarterback-driven league, right? And low key, if you don't have a top 10 quarterback, your franchise is probably in trouble, or even a top 15, right? So what they do is they find a way to hype this thing to push those quarterbacks up the draft board. So even in years where you think it's only 1 or 2 guys, all of a sudden, well, here's 3 or 4 guys that end up going to the 1st round of the quarterback position and whatnot. And some of that is driven to for teams that, like the Bears, for instance, we got to get a quarterback. Now, we said it's made the wrong choice, whatever, but they had to get a quarterback. So they took the shot at it. It sells jerseys. It gets their franchise base hype.
Charge, right.
Moves the jerseys and pushes the money forward, the whole 9. And then you see players kind of slide. And then too, you'll see people, as Spoon said, actually, maybe this defender isn't that good, but we're going to start hyping him up because we really want this other guy.
Yeah,
and we're going to push. Oh man, we're kind of hot on him. Wink, wink, and that gets that guy off the board, so their guy falls down to him. So yeah, man, it's definitely a dirty game. No ifs or buts comes from the draft. It's a dirty game for sure.
Here's the thing: Philadelphia Eagles. If anybody here watching from Eagles land. I'm not disrespecting. I'm just calling out how it is. NFL draft, you got Dallas Goedert there.
Right.
The Eagles move up and get Dallas Goedert. They're like, oh, we went in front of the Cowboys, got Goddard. We took Connor Williams. Connor Williams was a first-round pick. He went in second round. The Cowboys took value. That's what it was. We got Michael Gallup in the next round. So thank you. Thank you for that. But now when we got CeeDee Lamb, y'all didn't need CeeDee Lamb. We could have had him. No. See, here's the thing. Y'all didn't want Chuck, my PS5 moment. Chuck told me, if you want it, you go get it. Right? They want it to come to you. You go get it. Well, I got mine. I said, I got mine. So what happened with the NFL draft time? CeeDee Lamb is right there. We like this. Doing our fingernails and just waiting. Eagles want to be we want to be cute. Oh, you don't want to trade that first round because you want to Hurts and you want to CeeDee Lamb. You want a reunion. And guess what? You messed up. And when the time came, you could have taken Justin Jefferson. No, you took Riga. At the end of the day,
Riga actually just leaked today of what the Vikings were kind of doing while the Eagles were drafting Rager. And they were sitting back laughing. They were surprised and like rolling on the floor because they got their guy. So
it's a dirty game. But at the end of the day, you control everything. You want it, go get it. Atlanta Falcons, Julio Jones right there coming out of Alabama. They went, mind you, there was a playoff team. They lost to the Packers in the playoff. They went from the 20-something pick straight all the way up to the top 5 and got Julio Jones. Tuck, what you said again? If you want it, you go get it.
Well, and that's a great point, Spoon. And the thing that I've talked about a bunch with these Cowboys. Do you want to stop this 25 years? I've said it a bunch. Push your chips in the middle of the table. And I'm waiting for Stephen Jones to come in here and push those chips to the middle of the table via free agency. Look, I'm not going to kill him for the draft. Hey, they've done it, and I'm maybe even a little bit more excited about this draft than last year, just because not of the depth, because I think the talent was better last draft overall. I think there's guys who went in the second and third round that might have went in the first round this year, but with the way they attack the draft with this new coaching staff, it makes me excited to see how they're going to play this thing and how it's going to move. But at the end of the day, scared money does not make money. And Stephen Jones, you've been a little too scary for me. You got a 6-10 year, got a top 10 pick. You have 5 picks between rounds 2 through 4. You have capital to make things happen. Don't sit on your hands and just say, well, we got this guy, we got this guy. In free agency, in the draft, moving these pieces around. Go do what you need to do to go out here and fix this defense. Because, and here's my thing when I come to Pitts, guys, if we don't do anything in free agency, I don't care. Sure, every single pick, draft defense. It's not going to fix this defense in 1 year. It's just not, period. So you have to figure out a way to leverage not just your capital in the draft, but this free agency to go get some pieces, cornerstone pieces, even if you will, to help this defense turn a corner. Because as we've all said, we don't have to have a top 10 defense with this offense. Can you get me somewhere between 15 and 10?
There you go.
Can you get me somewhere in between there and let this out? Look, I'm not telling you to hold these teams to 17 points. Just hold them to 21. And I think we'll win the majority of our games. And that's where we got to figure out with this defense what to do. And right now, you're blessed in a way with the 6-10 record to have the draft position you have, plus an extra third because Byron Jones left the building, plus the finagling you did, Stephen, with Quinn to get the extra 4. So leverage that stuff and go out here and be proactive. Don't go get me a pole. Don't go get me a guy that might have a little something left in the tank. Go get a guy that walks in day one, and we sit here and we come back on like we came back on. Nolan's fired. I want to come back on here and be like, oh, we went and got Justin Simmons. Oh, we went and got Quentin Williams. Oh, this defense is turning a corner now. We got a chance to do something here.
Yeah, listen, no lie. I wonder how many times did Stephen Jones go to a church and say, Father, I have sinned. I have a confession. I lied to Cowboy Nation saying every week, I like our guys. I like what we have. Because at the end of the day, it's like, listen, Stephen, just say you're not going after anybody. Stop saying you like our guy. Because I guarantee you, boom, they're all done. At the end of the day, like BJ says, you got to go out there and get some guys. You have to.
Right. And look, and again, Steven's not a dumb guy. Look, I do want to be clear on this. Steven isn't dumb.
No.
He knows we have a problem at safety. Here's the opportunities that he went and tried to go get Minka first all pro, by the way. You didn't give it that first round pick. You try to get cute with the second and Taco, right? Or, you tried 2 different times to get Jamal, right? So we know in-house they're trying to address it.
But like you said,
but
just
don't
go
try. Go do it. Because
Yeah.
this free agent class of safeties, there's guys there. The draft is not the way for safety.
Right.
I'm not saying you can't go get a guy later in the draft, but overall, I'm kosher. Go get me a guy in free agency.
Right.
And there's multiple young guys coming here day one. When they sign up, you're like, okay, we're good on the back end. Let's figure this thing out.
Right.
Or do you tackle either or, because you need both.
Like
you might need to start a linebacker too.
If you want it, go get it. Don't let the difference between $150 be the difference for you having a PS5 or not.
There you go.
Just
Talk
spin
it.
Pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger. Like, you know what? I need Jamal Adams. I don't want to give up this first, but damn it, here's the first. Like, here's the first.
What do T.I. say? If I want it, I got to go get it. What are they going to solve?
Yeah, man. So we're gonna wrap it up, man. 3 hours. That's reasonable for us.
Yeah, 3-hour gang in the building.
Yeah, before I let you guys go, man, once again, tell everybody where they can find you guys at.
Yeah, man. You can find me and Spoonie on Stargang on Facebook in the group, in the page, on YouTube. Me, Spoonie, and Mary. Let me not leave out Mary Ella. I know she knew what we was in for tonight. She was like, I'm out and tapping.
No, I'm not.
But you can find us. No. But you can find us on YouTube at Stargame Podcast. Hit that notification and the sub button. On Twitter, your_guy _Nicks. You can find me there. Mary Ella, you can find at Stargame Beauty as well. Spoonie.
At Spoonie881.
That's what. And he's active on Twitter now. I even saw Move the Chase said, "Oh yeah, he followed me finally." So yeah, Spoonie's getting active over there on Twitter, y'all.
Yeah, Spoonie's active on Twitter, man. Yeah, follow me on Twitter at jtuck151. Also follow me on Cowboys Fans Only on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe, and then cowboysfansonly.com. And if you want this smoke, TZ does it on PS5. Because I'm feeling like a full-fledged goon on this Madman.
What's that?
You got the PS5 Madden now. What's up?
I'm feeling like I'm a full-fledged goon. Like,
give me time.
I talked to my guy Brian B. Sean. He's a huge Chiefs fan. He's like, "You're afraid. You're ducking me. You're ducking me. You're ducking me." And so we 40 balled him 40-0. You know. Few picks with Reggie Robinson. Zeke had about 200 yards. But I did sub in Dak Prescott though. But it is what it is. It's my roster, my game.
That's right.
You think I'm about to play against Pat Mahomes with Andy Dalton and Ben DiNucci? You got another thing coming, man. Dak's back.
Big facts.
He's out there, man. But yeah, man. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Y'all have a good weekend. Before I let y'all go though. Our season's over. Do we have any dog in the race now, or just?
Hey, man, if Des go get him a ring, I'll be happy. Outside of that, whatever. Although I will say, I don't think it's a cakewalk for Kansas City this year. I know they were down a little bit in all those games and winning and whatever. Man, I tell you what, once I saw the Bills out there dancing the MC Hammer, you can't touch this. Boy, they're loose. They're feeling really good right now. They would have won 9 straight if it wasn't for a Hail Mary there at the end from Murray. Yeah. Sometimes it's about being hot, not the best. Bills are pretty hot. Bills are pretty hot. And of course, the thing about Kansas City is, while you have home field advantage, man, look, we know about Kansas City. Man, they have one of the best home field advantages in the NFL, period. And those fans are not going to be there with that energy that they bring. So I think Kansas City may be a little bit more vulnerable without the fans being at home. Right. Just saying.
It's different.
Yeah, it's way different. Buffalo got this all the way, in my opinion, too.
I'm not saying to go all the way. I'm just saying.
Man, so the Buffalo Bills bounce back and go to a Super Bowl before we can do it, bro. I'm tired, man. I'm just
as an eye opener to Jerry. Look, Jerry.
I'm tired, man.
I'm tired. But yeah, man. It'd be cool to see Dez get a ring. Outside of that, man,
I want to see Dez get a media day, man. All the fun, I want to see Dez get that, but
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. I mean, outside that, I'm like, I mean, NFC, I don't care. I don't know.
Yeah.
What see, man.
Just
Very
make sure
meh.
my number fit, man. So
Here's what I know. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody from our division is going to win the Super Bowl. Win, check mark. You know, first time that the Patriots aren't going to be looming, so it's a different feel. You know, one thing that's cool, right? 6 wild card games. First time in our lives that we're going to see two triple headers back to back. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But also that, man, look for some exciting games. Want to be here to be entertained, right? Again, yeah, it's definitely playing. Kansas City's playing with house money, but I think I'm telling you, I don't think it's a cakewalk for them for the Chiefs this year. I don't think it is.
Chiefs fans are already booked hotel reservations.
I got Buffalo going
They should be confident over the moon. They should be. They should be. Absolutely.
All the way to Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate you, my guys. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe to their channel, also to my channel, man. Appreciate all the support, man. We're gonna be back next week with draft talk, all that, man. So we can keep this train moving and get this thing figured out, man. But we got a new defensive coach coming soon.
He's
coming.
Who's it gonna be?
Making moves, man. Good day for Cowboys Nation. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Peace, man. Have a good one.